They watched as Manchester United took over, and later in the day as Liverpool got the win that they needed to go top. But it's still very much in their hands. If they keep winning, it's theirs. What have the Gunners got today? Well, it's as you were at the start of the weekend. If Arsenal take the points here, and coming off the back of 8 straight wins, they'll believe they can. But don't ignore Ipswich, who are desperate. Our live Super Sunday football comes from Highbury. It's Arsenal, who need 4 wins from their last 5, against Ipswich, who are hanging on by a thread now. Well, the last time that Arsenal won 9 in a row, they went on to win the Championship. It's 9 without a win for Ipswich Town, who exactly a year ago were lying 3rd in the Barclaycard Premiership. It's Arsenal today for them, and they've still got Liverpool and Manchester United to come. Sam Allardyce is with us, so too Alan Smith. Sam threatened to chin me if I mentioned that Bolton was safe, so I'll ask Arsenal. Are Bolton safe?
Yes, definitely. Saw them yesterday grab a point. I think that's all they need, 40.
But you're not taking that yet, are you?
No, I won't take that at all. I think that even though Ipswich have a bad run in, I think you saw yesterday's results. Fulham winning away, Blackburn winning away, Everton winning away. They were all in and around us, and you wouldn't have thought all 3 would have won away. That's made our point really valuable yesterday. And of course, you know, Middlesbrough recently beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. So this game is, you know, not a foregone conclusion as far as I'm concerned.
And we'll get onto the title race in a moment. But you watched that yesterday, Alan. Could have been more for Bolton as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could have been more. They had chances. Put Spurs under a lot of pressure, and in the end, I mean, obviously Spurs went a goal up. I don't think Sam would be too pleased with the defending here. I might be wrong, and it was onside, I think. Everson 1 against 1 and slotted it in well.
They went the wrong way, your defence, didn't they?
They did, yeah. I mean, I don't think they should have stood up in that position. There was no pressure on the ball. If they'd just dropped deep, they would have dealt with that comfortably, like, you know.
And then back in when Dean Holdsworth scored his first goal since his winner against Liverpool, all the way back in August.
Well, he carried on, he didn't give up, did he? I mean, Ben Thatcher there, obviously, I think he's tried to clear that with the wrong foot there. I mean, if he'd used his right foot, would have got in there. But, I mean, this is the one I dispute. We thought, obviously, their first goal was offside. This one's given offside, and for me, there's no way that is offside. Michael Ricketts is level with the last defender, and there is no space between him and the defender whatsoever, and the linesman give offside.
Who should have the advantage in those situations, the defender or the forward, if it's that close?
I think at the end of the day, it's down to the referee's assistant to take up the right positions, Richard. Like I mean, and often we find them behind the play or in front of the play, and they don't get crucial decisions like that right.
But if he's not 100% sure, which he couldn't have been in that instance, I just think you should give it to the attacker, shouldn't you?
Well, you were a forward.
Yeah.
I mean, if you saw the Everson one where he didn't give offside, that looked more offside than the Michael Ricketts one when he actually received the ball. And often the referee's assistant will put his flag up because he has to watch when the ball is played to when it's to deliver to where the player is. And often they give offside when it isn't.
So should he give the advantage to the defender? That's what I'm trying to get you to say.
No, I don't think you should give the advantage to the defender because
not when it was your player that scored.
He's been arguing all morning long that the defender should always get the right.
He's given offside. He's given offside. He's not given an offside for the Everson goal, and he's given an offside for Ricketts, and both of them were onside. So you know, he's got it horribly wrong.
Crucial day for Ipswich Town, of course, but we should not forget that the race for the title could not be closer. 3 changes likely this weekend. Liverpool lead now. Manchester United had done, of course, after going to Chelsea. If Liverpool won here, then Derby County would go down, but there was no place for sentiment. They had to win in order to go top. And of course, I suppose, Alan, cue Michael Owen. It was inevitable, wasn't it?
He's back, isn't he? Flying again after that injury problems he's had, and he said himself, it takes him a little bit of time to come back after that, which naturally it does. When you're as quick as that, you need to be 100% certain that everything's in working order. It certainly is at the moment. It was a fighting derby display, wasn't it? Full of guts, but just not enough in the end.
6 straight defeats for Derby County. That's as much as anything else. That's what's taking them down, Sam, isn't it?
It is. If you see the luck situation in the game, it plays a huge part. I don't care what anybody says. That Michael Owen's got a couple of deflections there, and he's got in, and there Derby missed it, and that's obviously poor defending from the Derby defence. But he doesn't need more than one chance to finish the lad, does he?
It was always asking a lot, wasn't it, for John Gregory to turn it around. I think the timing of his arrival. Did well initially, didn't he, with some wins, but it was very difficult.
Well, they did a fantastic win against us at the Reebok 3-1, which they fully deserved on the day. And I think John thought he would go on from there and the draw against Manchester United, but obviously they've not even drawn matches just recently. They've lost them. And
speaking of United, of course, they had been top earlier in the day after cruising to a win at Stamford Bridge. Took over after got the team news here.
Richard, Sylvain Wiltord is the latest one to join the Arsenal casualty list, but the good news for the Gunners is that Tony Adams and Ashley Cole both return from injury. George Burley makes 4 changes to the side that capitulated so resoundingly against Bolton last time out. Marcus Stewart is back up front to stake his claim. David Seaman returns in goal for Arsenal after Richard Wright's cup exploits last weekend. Adams and Cole rejoin the defence. Freddie Ljungberg played a key role in the Gunners' 2-0 victory at Portman Road in December, scoring the second and winning the penalty for the first. Ray Parlour gets his first start in 10 games in place of Wiltord. Dennis Bergkamp, with 7 of his 13 goals this season, all coming in his last 13 starts, again partners Thierry Henry. He's on 21 in the league so far, just 1 behind the Premiership's top scorer, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Canoe again named as a substitute. George Burley also has injury worries. Mark Venus, the latest casualty. Titus Bramble comes in for him, and Jamie Clapham replaces Fabian Vilnius. Martin Reusser gets his chance in place of Argentine Sixto Peralta, and up front it's Alan Armstrong who makes way for Marcus Stewart to partner Marcus Bent. 18-year-old Darren Ambrose waits to make his senior debut from the bench. Well, with just 5 games remaining for the Gunners, skipper Tony Adams, remember their most decorated captain, still needs 2 more appearances after today to qualify for a championship medal should Arsenal go on to win the title.
Oh, they'll strike him one, surely. Alan, they didn't play particularly well against Tottenham, needed a late penalty. Certainly weren't fluent against Middlesbrough in the FA Cup. Signs of nerves, perhaps?
Maybe. I think there's a worry in the camp that, particularly that Middlesbrough game, that they were quite poor and they've got to bounce back. They ground out a result. Just speaking to Bob Wilson across there, he said it was like the double team from 70-71 when they were playing poorly but getting results, and that's what you need at this stage of the season. But they'll be looking to bounce back today against Ipswich.
It's Highbury this afternoon on a Super Sunday with Arsenal and Ipswich Town. The Gunners closing in on the double, if you listen to talk about these parts. Chelsea will have something to say about that, of course, and Ipswich might yet about today. What happened to their season? 3rd last year at this stage, 3rd from bottom now. We'll try and find out when we come back. It's basketball tonight.
mission almost impossible, I would say. We've got a very hard 4 games coming up, 3 of them in 1 week. Sunday, Arsenal, Wednesday, Middlesbrough, and Saturday, Man United. 2 of them games are on Sky as well, which adds to the pressure a bit. I think we've got to win 2 games and draw 1 out of the last 4. Maybe that might still not be enough, but that's what we've got to aim for, I think.
Last season was a far different story. Marcus Stewart's 19 league goals propelled him to 2nd in the Premiership scoring charts, and Ipswich to 5th in the Premiership and a place in Europe. Mission accomplished. But did that success lead to complacency going into this season?
No, I don't think there was. I think there was a lot of excitement going about the club, having a European campaign. I know myself, I didn't expect to be in this position. No, I think, sometimes maybe if we went into the season expecting the unexpected, which obviously you don't do, but I didn't come into the season at all expecting to be in this position. I originally said, finishing the top 10 originally. I didn't expect to be where we were last year. I think we're somewhere in between where we are now and where we were last year. That's a fair statement for our club, I would say, our positioning. But as it goes at the moment, we're going down.
Stewart looks to place it, hits the post. That's the way it's been going for Ipswich so far this season.
Is there any feelings of guilt that you may have let fans down?
Definitely on my side there is, yeah. We've let myself down, my pride's hurt for not doing so well this season as I did last season. We're in a bad position at the moment. But when there's pressure on, that's when you see that people, that's what professionals do. David Beckham's a very good player, etc. But when the pressure's on, that's when he pulls the goods out. And that's what we've got to do. We're professional players, and when the heat's on, that's when you've got to start pulling your finger out and doing things. And we're not.
And that was very much evident to George Burley in their last game, a crucial match at fellow strugglers Bolton.
The players knew that the old town knew the whole importance of that game. If we won that game, we went above Bolton on goal difference. If we lost it, Bolton pulled away from us, and we're really safe from relegation, and we're out of the battle. And especially and then all of a sudden the game starts and we're 4-0 down within 35 minutes. The game's over. And I don't think it's, a lot of people said that, we didn't show the right passion and stuff. I think it's very hard when you go 1-0 down in the first 5 minutes to not drop your head in the position we're in. People say, we didn't run around and stuff, but I wouldn't agree with that. I would just say it was more of a mental thing than a physical thing.
What's the mood at the moment among the players?
Still optimistic, we've still got a chance of getting, staying in this league. Until that chance is totally wiped out, then obviously the lads will be a bit down, including myself. But while we're still there and battling, we're all quite upbeat, I would say.
What's the biggest difference between this season and last for them, Alan? Is it that he hasn't got as many goals, and is it as simple as that?
I do think Europe played a part, although Marcus said he didn't think it did. I think they got distracted with that. I mean, the whole town they did quite well in the UEFA Cup, and they didn't do any. I mean, you talk about this horrendous running they've got, but I think if you totally ignore that, it was that period up to Christmas when they only got 9 points. I mean, that was a terrible start for them. And then they had that excellent period afterwards.
7 wins from 8. They were up and away and gone, weren't they?
But it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was saying that Ipswich bottom of the league at Christmas. Nobody's ever got out to that position, and all of a sudden 7 wins out of 8. It was a fantastic run. I mean, they were top of the form table at that particular time, and it was only Manchester United ahead of them. And then, of course, whether it's injuries or lack of confidence or whatever it is, they've hit the brick wall again since. But to overcome that first game period, like Alan said, was or extremely difficult for them to do, and I do put a big emphasis on the European matches they had. It was of no surprise to me that when they were out of Europe, it's when they started winning the games in the Premiership.
Such a big game, that one at the Reebok that we saw. I'm sure that you'd identified as that as a must-win. Did you sense that there was a fear about them?
Well, we knew we had to get in amongst them as early as we could and try and apply a bit of pressure on them. And we say at this particular time, two teams in the bottom half, generally when you analyse the games like we do, it's about the mistakes you make, whether you do win the game or not win the game. And what we did, we capitalised on Ipswich's mistakes that day, and punished them severely. And we have had a good run recently, winning 3 out of 4, drawing the last one, you know, out of 5. And we looked at our games and said that we haven't made basic errors in the wrong areas to cost us goals. And really, that's what it's all about. Rather than intricate good play to get your goal, it's capitalising on other people's mistakes. And Ipswich made quite a few.
That was surprising though, Sam. Was it with so much at stake, you'd have expected a much harder game against Ipswich. I couldn't believe it, you know, when the goals kept going in. Yeah, they conceded an early one, but you'd have expected so much more fight off them.
Yes, you would, I think. But I mean, I think Alan, you know, when it starts and we were on a roll at that particular time, and really, almost every chance we got, we scored that day, which is good for us at that particular time. And once you've gone 2 down and then 3, it's very, very difficult when you're in that position, playing away from home, to, you know, contemplate coming back. I mean, they got a very creditable 0-0 in the second half and put us under a lot of pressure, you know. But the game was already over for them then. But maybe the pressure tells at that particular time, and you know what pressure can do to a player or do to anybody on a particular day. You can respond the wrong way for it and you can go under.
Of course, leaving this league is such a horrendous prospect for players, manager and chairman alike, particularly the chairman. Here he is with Jeff Shreves.
David, Derby relegated yesterday. Do you see it as a straight fight between you and Sunderland to avoid that 3rd place?
Well, funnier things have happened, but that's the way it looks at the moment. But we've said that we need probably 2 wins and a draw, but I reckon 3 wins actually. And 3 wins is 42 points, and there are several clubs under that at the moment.
How hard is it going to be? You've got games in hand, but you've got to play the top 3.
We have, and on the form book, of course, we're massive underdogs. But I think the way we have to look at this now is it's almost like the playoffs a couple of years ago. Throw the form book of the season out of the window. This is 4 games, the biggest prize you can possibly have to stay in the Premiership, and that's the way we're looking at it.
There's still hope, but what are the ramifications of you being relegated?
Well, they're dire, but the club is in very good shape now. We're, you know, any club who's relegated from the Premiership, given the gap, loses a lot of money and undoubtedly would have to make changes. We know what those are. We have contingency measures, but at the end of the day, it's not the way we're looking. We're looking to try and stay in the Premiership, and we're going to fight with all our lives to stay here, because it was hard won 2 years ago.
Would players have to be sold?
Well, I've been on record to say they would, but I'm not going to go into who's and hows and wherefores. I mean, at the moment, we're trying to stay in the Premiership. And but what I think I must say is that the club is in great shape, both on and off the field. We have a very strong squad of players. And, you know, even if the worst was to happen, then I'm absolutely certain that we're in good shape to bounce right back. But it's not the way we're looking at the moment. We're going to stay with, if at all possible.
You finished 5th last season. George was manager of the year. And that's an easy question, but what went wrong?
Well, there are lots of things. You know, there'll be a time for inquest later. I would say simply Europe was perhaps too quick too soon. It's been a very steep learning curve for us. And we weren't accustomed to travelling each week in, week out over to the continent and then coming back and playing Premiership games like Arsenal are and Man United's and Liverpool's. And it takes time to bed down into the Premiership. And I think, you know, it did perhaps with hindsight, take our eye off the ball and created other problems. But at the end of the day, we've got to look forward, and lessons will be learnt, and we've learnt them, and I just hope not at the price of our Premiership status.
They say players are under pressure. What's it like for the chairman?
Oh, well, I'm fine, and you know, we're fighting hard. We know what it took to get here. This was a great prize, and we've won a lot of friends for Ipswich Town over the last few years. And but we've got to be winners on the field as well, and everybody knows that, and I hope that we can prove that in these last 4 games.
Thanks, David. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Because Chairman will, and rightly so, worry about the money. Has that ever been a factor in your season? Have you ever had to stop and think about the repercussions of relegation from a financial point of view?
Well, Richard, we started from day one, from when we first sat down in the boardroom, and we took out a contingency plan to get relegated, as well as to try and stay in the Premiership, and all our contracts are given on that basis, that there is a reduction in most players' salaries if we get relegated, and it wouldn't cripple the club like most clubs coming out the Premiership financially. We've dealt with that very well. We don't have to put it into practice.
As you save his blushes here, Alan, £1.3 million has been the outlay. It's ridiculous, isn't it, really?
Wow.
How can you survive on that basis?
Well, I don't know. Sam's probably the better person to answer that, but it's been a fantastic achievement. And getting players to sign those contracts as well is pretty difficult. I mean, who was it the other day talking about the fact, I think it was Harry Bassett saying, well, you should have a reduction in wages if you get relegated, but everyone said, well, how are you going to get players to do that? But it's the sensible option, and it's obviously going to, you know, save them from any financial ruin.
How do you get players to sign those contracts? Does it help if you're a big bruiser of an ex-centre half and
you can lock the door and take your jacket off and roll your sleeves up if you want to, like, you know what I mean? But when you're dealing with agents, it don't get you very far these days. But I mean, generally it's hard work. I mean, it's about missing most of your players. The most of your players that you target, you miss because of those circumstances, and you have to keep on and on and on and on and on. And like Yuri at the moment, Yuri was put to me at the start of the season last year. And there was just no way financially we could afford it, but he ended up not playing any football at all in Germany. He needed to get into the World Cup, and we went over and persevered, never give up hope, and finally he came to join us. And we did the same with Freddie, and we found players that are not playing at other football clubs who want to play football, and the attraction of the Premiership for foreign players is so huge that it's made it that bit easier for us to bring them in.
Well, it's Arsenal and Ipswich that everything's stacked against Ipswich Town, really. 1984 was the last time they beat them. 1979, the last time they beat them here. George Burley was at the club as a player. Spot the goal here, by the way, from Ipswich. And if you're reading the little strap at the bottom of the screen there, we promised George Burley's pre-match thoughts. Here they are.
George, what was it like for you yesterday afternoon watching all the results coming in from the teams down there at the bottom with you?
Well, I mean, actually, you want the results to go in our favour, but as a case, it didn't all happen. But you know, at the end of the day, we've got to win games, and we've got 4 games left. We know we can still stay up. It's going to be very difficult. We're against some of the top teams in Europe, the best in the Premiership. But at the end of the day, we've got to give it our best shot, and because we can still do it.
After the disappointment of the performance last time out at Bolton, what have you demanded from the players today?
Yeah, you say it was a poor performance, and it was a big game for us. So you know, everybody was disappointed. We let the fans do. So you hope we get a good reaction. The game before against Chelsea, they played very well. So we've got to be at our very best, and we know that coming to Highbury it's going to be very difficult. Anybody that comes here knows you're against one of the best teams in Europe. But we've got to look to play to our maximum, and you never know what might happen then.
You made 4 changes today. Not all of those are due to injuries. What can you tell us about those changes?
Yeah, we've you know, looked to change it slightly. We've picked a very attacking team. We need to look to score goals and win games. But nevertheless, as I say, we've got to be very positive. We know it's going to be tough, but we've got to go out there, look to try and win the game and get something out of the game. With another big game coming up on Wednesday. How hard has it been to prepare the players mentally for this one and for the run-in as a whole? Well, it shouldn't be. Come to Highbury, it's great to be involved. 2 years ago, we were playing the First Division. Since then, we've played in Europe, and it's great to come to stadiums like this. So hopefully we can put, a good account of ourselves today and get a result to take back home. George, wish you all the best. Thank you.
Yeah, of course we do. Sam Allardyce is here, Alan Smith is here. We are at Highbury. It's Arsenal and Ipswich Town today. No Sol Campbell in the Arsenal starting lineup, of course, but they're making him work, as you can see, presenting medals to local youngsters whose teams have been winning this season. And we'll be talking about the Gunners when we come back. 4 wins from 5 should see them there. We'll find out what they think. Penny, for your thoughts. George Burley and the chairman. It's an anxious day out for Ipswich Town. It's a Super Sunday at Highbury. There's championship boxing coming up tonight. Jose Luis Castillo defending his WBC lightweight title in Las Vegas.
For us, it's a massive game, and that is a dangerous game as well. But we know we have a good chance to win the championship doing well at home, and we have restored the confidence at home, and we feel really a strong belief. And there is a strong determination inside the squad that makes me very optimistic. But it will be, of course, Ipswich is fighting not to go down, and we are fighting to win the championship. So it's always a very difficult clash.
Why do you say it's a dangerous game?
Well, because every game we don't want to drop points, like Tottenham was before, like Middlesbrough was before, because we are favourite. And the way, it's always a little bit edgy, nervously. But on the other hand, we feel we have such a strong belief that even when we are under pressure, we have the needed intelligence and the needed technical quality to go through.
In this intense period now, how do you look at your team selection? Is it a case of injuries first, rotation? What's your philosophy?
We lost Will Todd against Russia because he got injured with France, and he will be out for 3 weeks. So at the moment the rotation is not a big problem for us. It's more being focused, being together, being highly motivated, like we are always, and keep the belief high and the confidence high, and concentrate on just purely football.
Is the bonus of reaching the cup final, though, that you'll see players lift themselves, hoping to seal a cup final place?
Well, yes, of course, but we want to win this championship. I must say that at the moment, before we play the FA Cup final, that's the main priority in our head. And I feel exactly every player is the same. They really want to win this championship, and we'll give everything in every game to win every game.
100% sure, he said, about the league and their favourites for the FA Cup, but he's backed off a touch there, I sensed. Was it arrogance or just real belief about the championship on his part?
He's been like that, hasn't he, for several weeks now, talking it up, very confident that he's going to win it. And I think he thinks that that's going to pass on to the players, and there's no reason why the players should have any doubt at all about it. It is in their hands. And the way that they've played this season, interesting to hear Sir Alex Ferguson say that Arsenal, unlike everybody else, hasn't had a dip, and he's obviously hoping that they're going to have one now, but they haven't. It's been a very consistent season. They've
got players who have won championship medals. Edu, notably, he's won Brazilian medals. He might be the first Brazilian to win a Premiership championship medal. Is he modern-day Petit? Have they found the replacement at last?
No, I don't think so. I think that would be saying something, because that axis with Vieira and Petit was absolutely fantastic. One of the best midfield pairings I've ever seen. Just the way they dovetailed was marvellous. But he's been a great addition, I must say, and just come into it and settled at the right time. A left footer was what they needed in midfield. Obviously had a very bad start to his Highbury career with a bad injury. But the language difficulties as well. But he's settled in, he's scored a couple of goals, hasn't he? And he's been a real bonus for them.
There were family problems as well. You might recall he arrived in the country and was sent back because there were passport problems, but he's smiling now.
Everything is different. Everything is very difficult when you move Brazil for England, because it's different pitch, it's different game, everything is different. But I think here is very hot football, and you never stop on the pitch. You always have to run. In Brazil, sometimes you take the ball easy and play easy, because of course it's different. Weather and pitch is bigger in Brazil. It's different. The pitch in Brazil is too big. If you go to play Maracanã, you're going to take corners. You have to very strong shoot because it's too far. And here, no, you have to control the ball. If you go change size, you have to shoot very strong shoot as well. But here you have to control as well, and it's different. But I'm adaptation here, of course. In the Highbury, it's more pitch, but I think it's good for Arsenal.
You have played in some different positions. Is your favourite position next to Patrick in the middle?
Yes, I am centre midfield. But I know now, because everything here you have to do. If you are Arsene Wenger wants, I play in left midfield or centre or a front, I have to do, because he is the boss. But I am centre midfield.
How much has Patrick Vieira helped you?
Everything, because he's fantastic players. When I go into play with Patrick, it's easier, because he is very nice guy, because he speaks to me on the pitch. I do go up front or back here. This is good for me, because he is very experienced guy. And I feel when I go into play with him, I feel very good and feel confident as well.
Do you think you can be the same as Vieira and Petit? Can you be the new Emmanuel Petit?
It's difficult to speak about this, because I like so much Petit, because he is a very good player. I watch him playing, he's very good. It's difficult for me, very difficult, but I have to try. I have to learn more English, of course, but I'm very happy with everything, with my life, with Arsenal, with my friends. I'm very happy.
Well, he's a new face about the marble halls of Highbury. That there is the face of Tony Adams, who's seen it all, done it all during an extraordinary career at Highbury. What would you pay, Sam Allardyce, for somebody like that in your side?
What, a young Tony Adams?
Yeah.
It'd be about £20 million now, wouldn't he? Without any shadow of a doubt. I mean, I think way back in the early 80s when I was at Bolton, I remember Tony making one of his few games early on for Arsenal, and he's gone on ever since. And what amazes me is he's played top-line football, international football, and obviously it's well publicised the problems he had within that period, and still managed to perform at that top level. Like, you know, and now since he's got all his problems, he's gone on and on and on, and it's only injuries that's stopping him still being a very good centre half in the Premiership.
And I would think, Alan, probably a dying breed, someone who's played all his club football in one place.
That's true, yes, yeah. I remember the day he was made captain, actually. He took over from Kenny Sansom, and we all looked at each other thinking he was far too young. I think he was 21, but he took it on like a natural and never looked back. He was certainly the best captain I've ever played under. And I mean, you can see the finishing line to his career now. I think this will probably almost certainly be his last season, and he wants to be involved. He doesn't want to go out with a whimper. You know, he's had his injury problems, and it's difficult for him to play more than a few games on the trot, but I think he'll be gritting his teeth now, and he'll really want to be about for these last few games.
Well, this is only his second game in 6 months. He has talked about retirement, as you said. You just wonder, is there anything left in him?
The body will tell me. Arsene's always said that, you know, my body will tell me, and I'm sure it will. I think he's right on that one.
You've always said that you would listen to the body. What's it saying to you at the moment?
It's saying, retire, what are you doing? He said, stop putting you through this hell. It's got a little bit left in it, but I know I'm coming to the end.
But you said you still get the buzz from playing football, you still love playing football. How hard would it be to turn you back on that?
If I can do it, then I'll play. If I can't, then I'm going to have to go out with dignity, and you know, I've been very lucky. I've done quite a bit in my career, and you know, thanks very much, and move on.
How hard has this season been with the injuries? Has it been frustrating?
Yeah, it really has, and it's been tough. You know, 5 months. I've never had 5 months in my career where I've been injured. I've been very lucky like that, and to actually battle that in the head. You know, it was many times I wanted to, you know, over the Christmas period and January, just to throw it in and think, hold on, what do I need it for? You know, 19 years in the game, you know, what is the point? And I had to battle with that. It's hard. I don't like being in the gym and getting fit. It's not natural for me. The natural thing for me is going and get the boots on and play in the game. I wasn't a nice man to be around, and it's very frustrating. But I kept on I always had a feeling that I said to Arsene that, you know, I'd like to maybe stick around and help out the chaps. I don't know what capacity that'll be in. Hopefully it'll be with the boots on, kicking some players. But if it's just, you know, be around and you know, advice and chatting, then so be it. But I always thought that I would have, you know, helpfully a hand to give the boys.
Tony Adams, who plays today, also back in goal. Arsenal's Abel Seaman, the cup goalkeeper, rested today, I suppose you could say. But is there something of a cotton wool approach to keeping David Seaman fit?
It's been quite a curious little system he's used, isn't it, Wenger, in that he's played Richard Wright for the cup matches, and a few people are wondering what he's going to do for the FA Cup final, but Arsene said he's going to play his strongest team, so by that I presume it means he'll play David. But he is by far the best keeper on Arsenal's books, and England #1 still. He'll be England's #1 in the World Cup. Like Tony,
how do you
fantastic serve. Because I'm guessing. But it's an educated guess. I'd put a few quid on it, I must say. But like Tony, he's coming towards the end of his Arsenal career, and he's still a very fine goalkeeper.
He keeps proving the doubters wrong though, Alan, doesn't he? Because everybody's been writing him off for about, it seems like 3 or 4 seasons now. Yeah. He keeps coming back and back and back and back again, and obviously Arsene thinks he's #1 goalkeeper because he's back in the big games, isn't he?
Yeah, his reactions are still great. I mean, I just think his presence as well gives so much confidence to the defenders. He's unflappable, always has been. and you don't lose that as you get older.
Well, these statistics don't make happy reading for Ipswich Town. Arsenal unbeaten in the last 12, and they've won 9 of those. Town's last win at Portman Road, September '84, when Bobby Robson was the manager and George Burley played. Arsenal unbeaten in 10 here. 1979, Town's last win. Again, Bobby Robson was the manager. 2-0 then. Alan Hunter and Arnold Muren, the goal scorers. Strong favourites today for the Championship and the FA Cup final. Arsenal, of course, will turn their minds to that if they can when they've got the Championship in the bag. But you'll see it live on Sky Sports.
Fantastic shot! Jeremy! Hooray! Good Johnson scored! Good Johnson! Still his backhand!
If you like the way we do things, join us May the 4th at Cardiff's Millennium Stadium. It's live, the FA Cup final on Sky Sports. Fan Zone today, if you're a Sky Digital viewer, you can go interactive. Kevin Connor, representing the Gunners. Paul Frank is our Ipswich Town supporter. Join our match commentators, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Hello again, everyone. 11-1, Ipswich, 2-horse race. Is there a gap between third and third bottom really as big as that?
No, there isn't, Martin, but I do think that's why how strongly the bookies feel about Arsenal and their home record and their general form at the moment, give or take last week's FA Cup semi-final, which was really poor. And they're not 11-1 Ipswich. I'll tell you that now. They've got talent, they've got ability, and if Arsenal play as poorly as they did at Old Trafford, then they've got a better than 11-1 chance of winning the game today.
Is that because they were favourites then, and they're certainly favourites now? Is that weigh heavily on their shoulders?
Yeah, I think there were a few things last week. I think Patrick Vieira played like a man with a huge weight on his shoulders, another booking, and he would either have missed the cup final or the Manchester United game. He didn't perform, he didn't slip, and Arsenal never got out of first gear, although Middlesbrough made it very difficult for them. I think they might get a little bit more room to play against Ipswich today. It's a lovely day for the game. The fans are really up for it. They've sat back this weekend and watched Liverpool and Manchester United do their stuff, and I think they'll be very keen not to disappoint their fans, and they want to do their stuff.
This is the Arsenal team that Arsene Wenger has chosen today. 4 changes, in fact, from that semi-final side. And against the trend here, in come 4 Englishmen, a famous 4-2. David Seaman back in goal, Tony Adams and Ashley Cole in the back line, and Ray Parlour in midfield. Sol Campbell, Oleg Luzhny and Sylvain Wiltor all injured at the moment and fighting to be fit for the FA Cup final.
Well, it's a very familiar system. Arsene Wenger has played it all the time. It's that reliable, straightforward back 4 with the 4 in midfield. Parlour restored to the right-hand side and Ljungberg on the left, and with Dennis Bergkamp and Henry as the real threat. But they're a real threat when, you know, when Henry becomes the focal point, Martin, and Bergkamp drops off into these areas, and then that does allow the 2 wide men, particularly Ljungberg, to come from left to right into this attacking area, from Parlour to do from right to left in there. And watch for Henry an awful lot of the game. He'll just take himself over here, Martin, loves it. The left-hand side, get the ball and then go and attack players. And those are the players that are key, and if Ipswich don't control them, they really have got a problem.
As if Ipswich's task is not hard enough, they're further hampered by a long casualty list, with defender Mark Venus the latest addition to that, and Jim Magilton not available because his young son is ill. Titus Bramble starts only his 2nd Premiership game this year. He's at right back, and Herman Fridayson is needed in the centre of the defence. Jamie Clapham recalled on the left-hand side. It's Martin Reusser for Sixto Peralta in midfield, and Marcus Stewart for Alan Armstrong up front.
Well, with the lads at the back, it might have been a 3 at the back, Martin, but it's certainly going to be a flat back 4 to start with. 4 in midfield and 2 up top, almost mirroring Arsenal's. When you look at Titus Bramble, McGreal and Hariderson, all centre-backs, they can all play there. Hariderson can play at left back, so they've got plenty of defensive cover in there. Now, where it's important for them, again, these 2 in the middle of midfield, Matt Holland and Tommy Smith here, they're patrolling across here. The protection of the back four either side is going to be vital for Ipswich keeping it tight, because they have got players like Finidi George here who can go outside, can come inside, can score goals. That might be important. And Royster as well, I think is, well, I think he's underrated. I think Martin Royster, coming from this area, will also get himself forward. So important that they keep it tight, but they have got players to support the front too if they get a chance.
So Matt Holland, one of a number of players who's been with Ipswich a good number of years and very devoted to the club, which isn't always the case these days with players moving around so much. But they're going to need all their togetherness, all their team spirit. Ipswich Town. Here's a rather spectacular decline, finishing 5th last season. You might have thought they could have fallen to 15th, which would have been no harm done, really, given what a wonderful tilt against the odds it was in the previous campaign. But to fall out of the Premiership was certainly not on their minds. Tony Adams is back, and that's always good news for the Gunners. David Seaman as well. Arsenal aiming to concentrate on their games, knowing that their destiny is in their own hands, but Manchester United and Liverpool have again done their level best this weekend to distract the Gunners, and their victories yesterday have pushed Arsenal down into 3rd place as they confront the side that actually stood 3rd themselves exactly a year ago, but of course are now in the bottom 3. We talked about Arsenal being strong favourites here, but they didn't really carry that off as strong favourites in the FA Cup semi-final, despite the victory against Middlesbrough. The expectations seemed a burden to them, and their marvellous technique might not be under question, but their collective temperament will need to be strong today, because Ipswich, of course, are fighting for their Premiership lives. Dangerous opponents, Arsene Wenger has called them. Plenty of pressure here at Highbury, at opposite ends of the table. 2 of the contenders in this 3-horse race safely cleared their fences yesterday. Arsenal's obstacle now comes in the shape of Ipswich Town. It's live here at Highbury in the sunshine right after the break.
Penny for George Burley's thoughts. What would you pay for his right now? Sven-Göran Eriksson and Robert Pires, the football writers' player of the year. Baggies have done it, they're up. Wolves, Millwall, Birmingham and Norwich City. They go into the playoffs. Norwich have pinched the last playoff place by 1 goal. We're at Highbury. It's Arsenal against Ipswich Town. Thierry Henry will be the feature of player cam for the first 15 minutes of this first half. Push the red button to go interactive. Commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Well, thank you, Richard. I wonder whether Thierry Henry will answer Arsenal's call today, as the major marksman did for Liverpool and Manchester United yesterday. Michael Owens, 2 goals at Anfield. Van Nistelrooy and Solskjaer on the score sheet at Stamford Bridge, along with Paul Scholes. Ipswich, well, they're desperate to get back into action. A couple of weeks to dwell on an awful first half when Bolton put those 4 goals past them a fortnight ago now. Arsenal, well, their FA Cup semi-final kept them out of league action also last weekend, and they've not played in the Premiership since Lauren's late penalty took the points against Spurs. Long ball by Herman Hreidarsson. There were gasps of admiration, quite literally, from the Ipswich players when they walked out and saw the state of the Arsenal pitch. Can't complain about anything underfoot. Now they've got to get down to business at an absolutely crucial time in the season, and you feel when it costs some 10 million to be relegated in the general history of the Suffolk club. Ashley Cole back for Arsenal today. They do. Getting a good run in the side, Ljungberg. And Cole wins Arsenal an early corner.
They're very slow out the blocks in the semi-final, Arsenal. Martin, I don't expect them to be like that this afternoon. I would expect Arsene Wenger to have sent out a team right on the front foot to go at Ipswich, to test their resolve after that hammering they took against Bolton.
Up goes Adams, and Andy Marshall, the goalkeeper, comes to claim. Herman O'Reilly did a passable job, really, stopping Adams getting a free header. One for Marcus Bent to chase. The Ipswich striker has already performed here once this season as a substitute for Blackburn Rovers, and they got a draw at Highbury back in the autumn. And one crumb of comfort for Ipswich is that Arsenal's real slip-ups this season have come at home. There are only 3 Premiership defeats.
And they're playing pressure football. All 3 at the top are name of the game. Talked about it a couple of weeks ago. It's not about performances, Martin. It's about winning football matches now. And if we gave Arsene Wenger 1-0 beginning of the match, he would take it.
It was 1-0 when Ipswich came here last season, but of course their confidence was much higher then. Parlin. Lauren. Edu. Arsenal have won their last 8 league games. Shades of that run of 10 successive victories that took them to their last league title 4 years ago. And there was also an FA Cup final and a successful one there. Vieira. Well, it was a stern challenge by Roycer. It didn't get the ball, but Parler reclaimed it. Bergkamp.
Well, that's when they're almost at their most dangerous, you know, when Bergkamp picks the ball out 30 yards from goal, then allows Ljungberg to do what he did then in support of Henry.
Ljungberg. Bergkamp. Lauren making tracks. Corner off Jamie Clapham. Clapham started his football in North London with Tottenham. Vieira just jogging off towards the centre of the goal there, and the ball very nearly dropped for him. Referee, incidentally, today is Alan Wiley. Keogh has put himself back in World Cup contention. Adams. Now Parler. Keogh again. Murray coming for the ball to feet. Going to lose Matt Holland here, and was attracted by the run of Freddie Ljungberg.
So quick, the football, the tempo of it just at the edge of the box there. The ball has to be absolutely perfect when you're playing at that type of pace.
As George Burley was saying before the game, Andy, that when he'd been here before, he felt the pitch was a bit on the hard side. The game was very fast, but there was more give in the ground today. And as I say, perfect was the description of the pitch. Lovely ball by Edu. Bergkamp. Ljungberg, the flag's gone up. Freddie Ljungberg, who really cut Ipswich apart at Portman Road earlier this season.
Well, there are 5 minutes gone, and I think Freddie Ljungberg's been centre of goal in that area 4 times already, Martin. Just off, just off. Jamie Clapham would have been the culprit, the full-back, other side of the pitch. He almost got caught.
Andy Marshall's played here once before, and that was as a 19-year-old in Norwich City's goal back in 1995. their relegation season. They're in the playoffs. Give credit to Nigel Worthington and Doug Livermore and all the players. And big congratulations to West Bromwich Albion up in your part of the world. Andy, one of your old clubs?
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic job, Gary Megson. Very much in a shoestring. But I do think one of my other old club rules will be ruin the fact they let a big lead disappear.
Miller getting a foot in. Lock. Bergkamp. Ljungberg's made another run. Bergkamp gets away from the grill. Will it drop for Henry? It does. Clapham is the defender. He's now on the ground. Ljungberg. It breaks here for Edu.
First chance of the match. They don't often play crosses, Arsenal, but the run from Ljungberg opened it up and allowed Bergkamp to go wide. And from here, well, they get a little bit of good fortune when it finds Edu at the edge of the box, and he's got a wonderful left foot. I think he'll be a tad disappointed. Not brilliant technique, you could see how he was leaning back. As soon as it left his foot, it was rising.
Long from Titus Bramble. Bent. And a very good signing by George Burley. Scored 9 Premiership goals. He's their top scorer in the league. It's interesting, Titus Bramble playing right back today, normally a central defender. And Ipswich doing that with Henry's movement from the left-hand side. You mentioned it, Andy, when we were looking at the teams. And I wonder whether Arsenal might have got wind of it, because Henry hasn't drifted into Bramble's territory as yet. Although he's quite close now. Here he is, though, exploring his central route at pace. The pass didn't quite carry enough pace.
And a little early with it as well. Under hit and a little early. Must be hard for the Arsenal players, though, Mark, when Henry breaks and you're trying to catch up with them.
And some players are quick without the ball, but not so many are quick with it. Royce, who had a good strong finish to last season. He'll be the same this time around. Hasn't been in the team recently, the Dutchman. Difficult for George Burley, who probably wanted to make wholesale changes after what happened at Bolton, but his hands rather tied by the number of injured players like Makin and Jermaine Wright, the goalkeeper Sereni. And losing Mark Venus, injured at Bolton. Finidi George, who can probably play a lot better than he did up at the Reebok, and trying to impress at Highbury. The former Nigerian international, we must call him at the moment. He wasn't in Nigeria's squad for the midweek game against Scotland, but Kanu was, and he captained his country. Can't get in the club side, his problem at the moment. It's a touch by Finidi George, and looped away by Vieira. Ljungberg supported by Edu. Bergkamp. And we've got a little ahead of where Bergkamp expected him to be. Edu. Cole making a move. The pass really needed to be clipped over the back line to give Ashley Cole a chance of collecting it. But Arsenal retrieved through Henry, and Ljungberg trying to take a leaf from the Bergkamp book.
A little wasteful. Henry's not happy. Brilliant skill from him way out the touchline. Look at that little touch there, and watch how quickly moves his feet and plays it. And now he wants it back again. Look, there's a big gap for him. He just wants it laid in front of him. Ljungberg ignored him.
A touch from Marcus Bent. Keown finding life being made difficult for him on the cover by Marcus Stewart. Bramble. Royce back to Clapham. Ryderson. Vieira. Taking a little bit of a risk there. He's much more relaxed today, Patrick Vieira, than he was last weekend. That threshold for the 10 yellow cards has passed. And of course, it's only 13 days to the cup final, so any problems today wouldn't affect that match. But Patrick Vieira has been talking about tiredness. He played a full 90 minutes for France against Russia on Wednesday. So too did Thierry Henry, and Arsene Wenger was not amused by that.
I think he did the right to be upset with that.
Lauren. Bergkamp. Bent the target from Clapham's ball. He gets a touch, but Stewart not up in a position to anticipate that. You can understand him thinking that he might make an extra man in midfield from time to time, Marcus Stewart.
He has done that. He's filled in the left-hand side quite a bit early in the game.
Holland. Wasn't really anticipated that. Again, maybe indicative of Ipswich's thinking to get through the early minutes first and foremost with their own goal intact.
I think that's fair. I mean, when you think of yesterday, Mark, the two big games that mattered at the top, Manchester United 15th minute goal, Liverpool 16th minute goal. That helps you a lot. It calms the nerves. Arsenal approaching that part of the game.
Adams deciding to lend a hand. Henry, John McGreal got close to him. Judging by Bramble's reaction, it would have been a corner. Henry reacting from the corner, from the throw rather, from Ashley Cole. Lauren. Let's go back to 1984 for Ipswich's last league victory over Arsenal. In the Premiership meetings, it's been rather one-way traffic in Arsenal's direction. Header back in David Seaman's direction, that looked a little understruck by Lauren.
One of the most powerful of headers back to his goalkeeper.
Ipswich arms raised for offside, nothing doing. Vieira. Adams whipping it wide to Cole. Back for Vieira. Here's Bergkamp. Parler's waiting on the right. Bergkamp in the end turning into trouble. Marcus Stewart there back in midfield again. Well read by Adams. Authoritative play from Mr. Arsenal. And he's in the end, having shown the power with the ball, trying to come up with a subtle and stealthy shot.
This part's absolutely sensational. But look at the good support he's got. He's got Henry left, good support right and through the middle. Unlucky big man. But Ipswich are doing a pretty good job when Arsenal have it, Martin, about 30 yards from goal, because they're putting players back centrally.
Well, there's no flag. Henry, McGreal trying to get there, and Henry's shot had no chance of getting to where he wanted the ball to go.
Well, it's the first time that they've been high up the pitch and one ball has just been helped on. He doesn't need a second invitation, Thierry Henry, to get in behind defences, but you can see with the strike, it's rather scuffed across the face of goal. No real threat to Andy Marshall, but the threat for the back four was there for all to see. You get high up the pitch, and you're not quick enough, and Henry leaves you behind.
Well, I wonder who he's supporting today. Brian Talbot, a great stalwart both for Ipswich and for Arsenal in his playing days. Scored vital goals for them from midfield. And of course, as you've just seen on the screen, very pleased with his first league season as manager of Rushden and Diamonds. With the playoffs to come. Can't be as hard as getting out of the conference, though. That is a task. Here is Patrick Vieira. Ljungberg.
Little clip off someone. Wasn't the best struck shot from Freddie. Might not have even been threatening the goal on its own, but just a little sloppy at the back. Finidi George allows Ljungberg to take the throw, run in behind him, and he just stands and watches. Teammates wouldn't have been happy if they'd bent that top corner.
Henry's corner. Keown. Vieira looks to set up Parler. A lot of players between Ray Parler on the back of the Ipswich net. Bergkamp, one of those players who was scurrying back for Arsenal. He did some good defending again there. He's been the one saying the warnings, really. He was perhaps the most disappointed publicly with what happened at Old Trafford last Sunday. Arsenal scraping through that semi-final. Essentially admitting it good enough to produce the double load of silverware that's within reach for the Arsenal players. Bent. Cross comes Adams. Vieira. It didn't quite happen for Patrick Vieira, but that was a trademark run for him.
Plenty of attempts for Arsenal, opening 20 minutes or so. None at all. I've asked the question of the goalkeeper.
Shrewd set-piece operator Martin Reusser, who delivers for Ipswich here. Ljungberg closed down by Holland. Ljungberg goes outside him. Holland hasn't given it up and buys Ipswich a little bit more time. Edu. Bergkamp. Ryderson not sure whether to come out and go with Bergkamp, in the end checked off. Allows Lauren to move forward. Bergkamp, pressure on the Dutchman in the end came from Matt Holland.
But again, an awful lot of blue shots centrally, Mark.
It's good work by Marcus Bent. He's caught out Martin Keown. He's looking for Finidi George, but the ball, a natural bend on a right-footed ball then was going to take it away from what Ipswich had in mind. Well, if you want to keep track of Marcus Stewart now and you're a Sky Digital viewer, try the player cam facility by pressing the red button on your remote. Doing a lot of work, Marcus Stewart, not getting too many touches on the ball, but he's typifying the Ipswich attitude of the opening 20 minutes, and that's a foul by Bergkamp on McGreal.
He's almost playing halfway between Marcus Bent and the midfield, Martin. When they're defending, he is getting back in there. He's very responsible, supplementing the midfield area. And then the other end is a hard bit, and from there trying to get the support that's needed to Marcus Bent.
It's one of the downsides of the season for Ipswich. Marcus Stewart getting that unlucky broken jaw in a training accident in November. He was second highest scorer in the Premiership last season with 19 goals. He's only got 6 league goals in this campaign. Here he is. Let's talk about him being an England player, wasn't there, a year ago? Roycer. Good work by Lauren. Keown playing it from the back, maybe overplaying for Arsenal. Handball by Holland, the advantage played by Alan Wiley. Vieira, all started very deep, this for the Gunners. Will it end with a shot on target? Ori! Oh, it's skimmed the bar.
Referee's given corner, but I, like you, thought the biggest deflection, he's pleading innocence, and I don't think he saw it, Andy Marshall. The deflection which fools the referee is from the top of the crossbar. They lose possession, and it's a lovely quick break from Arsenal. And as he does from left, inside he comes. Oh, wonderful effort.
Here is Henry. Defensive foot there belonged to Bent. Ljungberg. Cole. Good work by Tommy Miller. He's only starting in Ipswich's senior side for the 5th time. Ipswich had as a junior. He had to go to Hartlepool to learn his trade, really, in senior football.
I tell you, that was unlucky, Martin. Lovely run from Roycer, and Titus Bramble almost picked him out.
Vieira. Here's Cole. Edu. So we're halfway through the first half. Arsenal 0. And strong resistance from Ipswich to ensure that. And doing that, they haven't really troubled David Seaman as yet. Maybe a chance now as Miller drives in. Edu stood firm. Bergkamp. And McGree. Keogh. And Roycer. Only the ball gets a touch on this perfect pitch. And Finidi George keeping it at the lower level with a shrewd pass here for Martin Roycer. He can work the ball with both feet, and that might have been a useful crossing towards the near post, where Benton made a run. Drifted all the way behind from Royce's delivery. Plenty of players who are willing to go in and attack that for Ipswich. Bramble,
quick enough, yeah.
Ryderson. Even Finidi George is tall for a wide player. John Henry maybe. The way Alan Wiley saw it. He wasn't happy about the lack of a decision. Now, Finidi George. Adams cushions the cross away. Ljungberg. Henry. This is Bergkamp. See what was in his mind.
Well, they've had 2 or 3 of those. Arsenal, where the striker of the ball hasn't quite connected the way he would like. That's what happened there.
Freddie Ljungberg. Lines run up. Parler. Lauren. It's past Roycer. Rather easily Ipswich might feel. Parler. And he fired that across. more live football from the FA Barclaycard Premiership for you on Sky Sports 1 on Tuesday at 7, Blackburn against Newcastle. And on Wednesday, a pay-per-view offering from the Premier League, Arsenal against West Ham, channel 433. It's at 7:30, channel 433. Bergkamp. It's Powell, trapped by Clapham.
Oh, good defending. All the way Jamie Clapham went. Full back four. Your player goes across. Unless you get a shout, you've got to track him all the way. You almost feel Arsenal would quite like Ipswich to come onto the game a little bit, Mark. Get a little bit of the play themselves. I do think Arsenal like teams to come onto them as well. They've got great pace on the side with that man there, and Freddie Ljungberg, even Ray Parlour coming from the other side.
It was the first little confrontation maybe between Ori and Bramble, and Bramble came out on top. It's a goal kick. Finidi George. Miller. Just a little layoff from Marcus Bent. Roycer made it his when it was Lauren's ball, really.
Now that's when good fortune goes your way. Lauren knows that. Played the ball, and if Roycer's got any luck, it just drops in front of him, not away from him.
Ljungberg gets away from Finidi George. Step overs are plenty. And the cross in the end, but the flag had gone up. Relaxed at the moment, Arsene Wenger sitting across there on the sunnier side of the ground. George Burley has played in winning Ipswich sides at Highbury and managed a winning Ipswich team here in the Worthington Cup. What he would give to be a victorious manager in the Premiership here today. Seaman, they played the full 90 minutes for England against Paraguay last Wednesday, the only player to do so.
Hey, you could have played the full 90 minutes where he was last Wednesday.
I couldn't have sported a ponytail, though. Here's Keogh, who played the first half. It's been a fruitful first half for Arsenal here. Almost two-thirds of it gone. Ori. Madison, who is naturally left-sided, usually used by George Burley as a left-back. Dovetails well in there with McGreal. Central defensive pairing. There's Stewart. And to get it between Adams and Keogh for Marcus Bent, that's not an easy thing to accomplish, even though the two centre-backs late in their careers. With central defensive work by John McGreal in the opposite half of the pitch. Roycer tucking in from the left. Coming in from the right is Finidi George. This is Miller. Done well to get his cross in. Marcus Stewart. Fair wear. There wasn't much pace on the ball. That was the problem for him.
Well, Marcus Stewart's really been like a midfield player today. He's had that header marking away. He's trotted back now. There he is, just facing up the play.
Bergkamp. Fowler makes one run. A difficult ball to try and find Ljungberg, who was running in behind McGreal. Plenty in blue between Dennis Bergkamp and Andy Marshall in the Ipswich goal. Fowler. Back to Laura. Fowler again. Vieira. Ljungberg. Bergkamp, really solidly met by Bramble. Marcus Bent has chased everything against the odds up front and one or two little victories. Trying to get another one here. Adams needs help from Keogh. It's a terrific ball. This is Henry.
Well, he's gone for goal, isn't he? I wonder, did he have enough support? I'm looking at Dennis Bergkamp. He's breaking from the midfield. Did he get himself free? But this is a really tight angle. Ljungberg, you know where he's going. He's heading near post. So it's a little lower. Freddie might get a little touch on the header, but I think he's going for goal here. I don't think he was looking for Freddie one bit.
There's one behind Thierry Henry, one behind Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank in the Premiership scoring charts. Level now on 22 with Ruud van Nistelrooy. And Henry, rather controversially, was denied the chance to take that penalty against Spurs here a fortnight ago because he was injured and got attention on the pitch in the incident that led up to the penalty and had to go off until the game was restarted from the spot. It would have been a big issue if Lauren had missed, but he didn't. Here is Henry. And very calmly done by Clapham. The Arsenal fans, clock end, trying to con a handball out of the referee.
They play such great football, Arsenal, at times, Mark, moving it about, shifting it, but I just wonder, when a ball like that goes in, it's there to be headed, it's there to be met, and time again, no one makes a move for it. That was the case there.
Siemens needed this time with a bit more urgency as Miller tried to turn Arsenal.
They're just gaining in confidence, you know, Ipswich, Martin. They're just growing as the game's gone on.
But as you suggested a few minutes ago, that could be costly because the more they press on, the more room might open up for the side that need the points to go back to the top of the table. That's the conundrum for Ipswich. Lauren. Muddled to the ground by Roycer. From the veterans.
And it might just be a set play that opens it for Arsenal today.
Marshall knocked it high, not totally out of danger. Good help there by Stewart. Back into the mixer by Lauren, he hoped. In fact, it's back straight into Andy Marshall's grateful grasp.
I think that's what a lot of teams, if you're looking at Arsenal, you say, what do? You defend narrow? Yeah. I would always try and have your fullbacks infield just a touch, because if you force them wide and they don't like crossing the ball, force them to try and do that, make it as tight as possible in the centre area, the width of the 18-yard box, make it as tight as possible for them, have as many of your own shots in there, and then really ask a question of their ability. It has to be right on song for them to connect.
They do. It's another little plus for Ipswich. They'll be saying, well, even though you're Brazilian, we'll be happy with you shooting from there. Well, there may not be too many times to follow Tony Adams on a Premiership football pitch again. Maybe take this chance if you're a Sky Digital viewer and use the red button to see Tony via the player cam.
Just looking at him there, Martin, that just typifies him. He sees Edu hit that shot, nowhere near the goal. Tony's probably gutted and disappointed, but he just takes time out as captain to say, hey, well done, keep it going, have another.
And your left-footed effort was better than mine.
That wouldn't have been hard.
There's Keogh, who has no intentions of retiring, by the way. They do. He's obviously not Martin Keogh getting the same messages from his body as the captain is from his. 10 minutes to go to half-time. By this stage yesterday, in their respective games, Liverpool and Manchester United were leading. Bergkamp. Henry. Danger there, Bramble of having a grab at Henry off the ball, but in the penalty area. Roycer. Clapper. It's given away by Jamie Clapham. He knew it. Apologising to his captain, Matt Holland. Lauren. Trying to use the full width of the pitch with Cole on one side, Parler on the other in this attack, and Edu kept it narrow and is now deeply regretting what occurred, and so is his manager.
He's had a chunk of the ball, Edu. I have to say, Mark, he's been on it as much as any player in the first half.
But patience might be the name of the game here for Arsenal, knowing that Ipswich, who've shown their good morale so far, so different this from the first half of their previous Premiership game, but their confidence is fragile. It could all turn in a flash Arsenal's way, maybe a flash from Bergkamp. Very painful stop for Hreiderson. Referee might be advised to stop this. It's a difficult one for him. He can stop it now. It's a corner, and he can check out Hreiderson. He's got it on the head and refused to go down.
Well, he wanted to, but he knew he was still defending Martin. So Martin got up. I would have shaken him up. Dennis Bergkamp had to work the space. Good feet. It was probably, well, it was going well wide. Never really threatening the goal. So they get a touch lucky there, Arsenal. They end up with a corner with it, but you talk about them being patient. I think when you look at their 16 home games, 8 of them, the first goal for them has come in the first half, and 8 times in the second half. So suggests that they're not a team that get frustrated, but we're at the stage in the season where I just wonder, when do you start to get twitchy? When does it start to worry you? That's what George Burley will be asking the same question. I bet he said to his players, listen, we get to an hour mark and we're level. I fancy us to have a chance here.
Well, his plan A is working well, but it's not quite the same for Arsene Wenger. As it's a head injury, Hreiderson allowed to stay on after treatment. Oh, came so quickly to Vieira, possibly by surprise. It's another corner, and it was a rare defensive slip at the near post by Ipswich.
What a block from Bramble, Martin. He needed to be as solid as he is, Titus Bramble there.
The left-footed swinging corners from Edu. Adams makes a move. Doesn't get to him. Miller sorted up by Lauren over the head of Keane. McCreel got up well. So too did Vieira for Arsenal. Adams with the cross. McCreel is there again. Knocked out by Roycer. And a nick back for Ipswich by Stewart. Give Finidi George a chance to stretch his legs, and Arsenal outnumbered on the far post. If he looks up, oh, and the header against the post from Roycer. Comes back to Clapham. No offside here. And Bent looking for a bender, but it was Martin Roycer who rattled the post. It was a pretty fiery cross from Finidi George.
It was. He really fizzed it at him. I thought he could have given a better ball, but he's under pressure, Martin, all the way back, particularly now, and trying to pick a ball out. But that's how close he comes. Oh, he's so close. I just wonder how much of the goal was Martin Keown covering. It looked a simple header, although he did fizz it at him. It was head high. He didn't have to jump. He didn't have to put pace on it. He just had to meet it perfectly. All the pace was on the ball.
And David Seaman has got very lucky with that miss kick. It's picked out Ljungberg as if it was intended. Henri. Bergkamp. And suddenly Ipswich returned to being on the back foot.
Wouldn't that have been just like it? Hit the post, and then David Seaman scuffs that kick, goes straight to a player, run up the pitch and concede the goal.
He's still thinking back on it, chastising himself maybe. Martin Roycer. Oh, Roycer's there by the post.
Well, Royce, I mean, Alan, when he's getting a corner, but I think this is the post. I don't think it is Royce. Nowhere near it, Martin Royce. Outside of the post. Should be a goal kick.
Nice to have another corner. Defended by Miller. A bit of smuggling with the arm there by Stewart. The system didn't spot it when he might have done.
Oh, if Finidi George had made a run, Martin, gone. They might book Lowren for holding up the free kick. They wanted to take it quickly because, in fact, I think it was Titus Bramble who had bombed up the right-hand side. It was free. They could have played him early. Lowren was having none of it. Thierry Henry's having a word with Alan Whaley as well, Mark, because he's upset. He feels that a couple of times he's tried to make runs, particularly the last one when they broke in. And Anderson had a chunk of his shirt just holding him back. I think he's just making the point to the referee.
After the booking, the free kick goes forward 10 yards. Well, just before that, Arsenal got a corner that they shouldn't have done. It swings and roundabouts, but it's easy for us to sit up here and say that when you're in the heat of a chase for the championship or a fight against relegation. You're not so philosophical. You want everything to go your way. Royce. George had come in. Bramble. It's possessed by Henry. Takes on Titus Bramble. Ray Parlour makes the run from the opposite flank from Henry's point of view. Ljungberg's in the centre. Edu coming in, but Bramble gets the touch. Henry has to settle for the throw. Half-time looming. 2 minutes plus added time. Edu. Cole. And Stewart back in midfield again. Very effectively too. Lauren. Parlour. A very gutsy first half from Ipswich Town. That's Finidi George, who at times hasn't been perhaps the most competitive. He's a bit over-competitive here. But away from that eventual incident, Thierry Henry. Down, but not out.
No, he's getting frustrated more and more by the minute. Well, this is Royce's chance. I asked the question about Martin Keown, and I don't know whether he would have just been in his island. You see he's trying to play it past Keown. He's got a big enough gap when you see it there. He's got maybe a yard to aim at. I'm sure if Keown hadn't been there, Mark, it would be 1-0 Ipswich.
Marshall had a bit to do then.
I just looking at Thierry Henry as well. He's just, that tackle shook him up from Finidi George. He's very slowly coming and taking an interest in this next corner, with no interest in the free kick.
Bergkamp asking Henry to sprint, which at the moment he's not quite in the right physical state or maybe state of mind to do. It's a bit of cold water at half-time. Bramble. Two extra minutes then. George Burley will be delighted with the application. The attitude's been spot on, the battle plan's been spot on, pretty much so.
It's been disciplined, Mark, as well. Particularly Marcus Stewart, I think a special mention for him. He really has gone through an awful lot of work for his team defensively in a lot of ways, and then he's tried to be the link player.
Miller. Ljungberg. kept it well under serious challenge. Edu. Parler infield this time. Lauren venturing forward from right back. Parler. Comes out to Edu. Goes for the pass this time. With the shots way off the mark. Bergkamp with the cross. Swept away by John McGreal. Collected unattended here by Tony Adams. Adams goes on into the box. Ryderson's header. Edu. Wide to Bergkamp again. He's past Bramble. George Burley probably thinking, wouldn't it typify our season if something went wrong just before half-time?
Jamie Clapham and Tony Adams just got involved just as that ball looked up. Adams was trying to get it. Jamie Clapham just holding him away from it. A few words exchanged.
Frustrating first half for Arsenal. And from Ipswich point of view, the frustrations came from Martin Reusser. A header, when we're dealing in millimetres really, at this late stage, crucial stage for the side in the bottom three. The header hitting the post on the outside. Henry rather epitomising the frustrations for the Gunners. It's 0-0 at the break.
What a game from Spain tonight. Real Madrid won to go top last night. If Valencia win here, they go top. If Deportivo win that, they go from third into second place. 6:30 this evening on Sky Sports 1 from La Liga. It's Valencia against Deportivo. Sam Allardyce is with us, keeping an eye on Ipswich. Alan Smith is here, keeping an eye on the Gunners, who have been frustrated by Ipswich so far. No goals yet. Reaction at half-time. Next. No goals yet. A frustrating 45 minutes for Arsenal. And we did say right at the start, have they hit the wall? Are there some nerves? Has that been evidence of it?
Well, maybe a little bit nervy, yeah. It's certainly not gone according to script. But, I mean, I'm sure they would have expected that because Ipswich are fighting for their lives. But just like to see them attack a little bit quicker and down the flanks. I don't think they've done themselves justice. Ray Parler's had some good opportunities to get the ball in or maybe take his man on, and he hasn't done so. But you have to say they've had a couple of good chances as well.
And Ipswich Town have as well, Sam. Could have been in front, in fairness to them, couldn't they? They've defended well, and the longer the game went, the more confident they got.
Yeah, this is a great run by Finidi George, and I think Lauren is left there for dead. Gone right near to the byline, great cross, and really it just should have been a goal, shouldn't it? I mean, he's got an open goal just to hit there, and unfortunately for Ipswich, it's the wrong side of the post and out.
And he thought he saw Keown.
He's just tried to squeeze it in between the post and Martin, hasn't he? He's gone through his little corner there, but he's just a foot out.
A minute or so later, he was back here at the other end on this line, and you can see why he was upset when a corner was given. He didn't get a touch, but perhaps, had it gone his way, he was there, wasn't he?
Well, he was there in the right spot, and I think had it gone on the goal instead of the post, he would have cleared it, but it doesn't look like he's got a touch at all. It's hit the post, and obviously conceding a corner is very dangerous in those situations with the big men Arsenal have got.
Haven't let Henry get away often, Alan, have they?
No, they haven't, no. He only needs one instance, but there's been few times that he has got in any space, and when he does get in space, you can see what he's capable of. He's drifted out to the left as he wants to do and cutting inside, but it's not quite happened for him yet. Robert Pires just getting presented on the pitch, and they could do with him today. You know, that's just a bit of invention coming in from the flank. They are missing it. It's a great strike, but they haven't really had enough of that kind of thing. A few chances. Edu's had a couple of shots that wildly off target. They haven't made the keeper, Andy Marshall, work as much as they should have.
What do you do, Sam, if you're Ipswich Town? Because they'd take a goalless draw, wouldn't they? But the confidence that they've had towards the back end of that half, might that expose them if they overdo it?
Oh, that's most certainly against Arsenal and Manchester United. They're the masters at it. You've got to get sucked into that at all. And I think George has set his stall out magnificently today. There's a bank of 8 there from the 18-yard line. The back 4's there. Then there's the midfield 4 right in front of them. And Arsenal have had a slow tempo for me, and I think they're now finding that very difficult to break down that bank of 8. And obviously, when they've got the opportunity to break, with Finidi George with a bit of pace like that, and Royce, they'll try and do so. But if they overextend that attacking force, they could well pay the penalty with Arsenal's counter-attacking football.
Manchester United won yesterday at Stamford Bridge. We saw it live. Liverpool followed up by beating Derby County to go top. Arsenal struggling at the minute. It's goalless here. And he's got things other than playing on his mind at the moment. They're missing him, Perez. Just a point for Newcastle United on Tuesday night will give them 4th place, but Blackburn are not safe yet. They need to win that. It's live on Sky Sports 1 at 7 o'clock, and the pay-per-view offering on Wednesday night. Well, we're back here to watch Arsenal play West Ham, who are in terrific form at the moment. That's a Premiership Plus offering. For more information on how to order that game, dial 08705 160 160, 08705 160 160, and still he's signing autographs. For a young fellow who's not particularly interested in what he's watching here today. No goals yet. We've talked about Ipswich, Alan Smith. What about Arsenal? They're just missing a little bit of, what, a little bit of creativity, a little spark. What's missing?
Yeah, I think it's that spark in the final third. I mean, as Sam says, they are defending heavily in numbers, Ipswich, and it just needs a little bit of luck sometimes, or one of those little diagonal through balls that Bergkamp, who we haven't seen enough, can deliver for the likes of Henry. They've just got to keep the nerve, you know, not think too much about the consequences if they drop 2 points or even drop 3 points. Just got to keep the nerve and believe in what they're doing.
Just doesn't go according to the script often, does it? No goals yet. Finidi George, our feature of Player Cam at the start of this second half. It's Arsenal 0, Ipswich Town 0. Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. No changes at half-time. No goals in the first half, and worth mentioning perhaps at this stage that should it be a draw today, Arsenal would remain 3rd. They still would have a game in hand. But you could look at that game in hand as a way to Manchester United, Mr. Gray. Different perspective then, isn't it?
It is, but 45 minutes is a long, long time in this game we all love. And an awful lot can happen.
Second 45 minutes is underway.
Sorry, Martin, I was just saying they had to be very patient here against Derby, a team that maybe they would have been expected to come and just beat quite comfortably. You know, 20 minutes, 70th minute or something like that before Robert Perez got the only goal of the game. And it looks like that, certainly the way Ipswich have shaped up, as if it might be something along the same lines we're going on today.
Vieira. Rolled pass. Good angle for the cross for Parla, or it should have been. You would feel, Andy, that Ipswich would be quite happy to see the ball coming in the air.
Well, they're reluctant to put it in. I mean, I think the thing about it is, Matt, just every ball cross that comes in, well, almost all of them, they're all low. They're all below head height.
Bergkamp. Or in the extra man, that was deflected.
Well, they've had plenty of corners. They're at the double figures now. The only real threat was Martin Keown's little header against the outside of the post.
Maybe his corner. Vieira! That was more thrustful from the set piece, but it went straight at Marshall at some pace by the head of Patrick Vieira. Bergkamp looking like a man with a mission here. He is on. We talk about millimetres with Royce's effort. The same applies to Bergkamp. This time it was the inside of the post, even closer.
This time it was a magnificent effort, though. Past Bramble. Couldn't get an angle to deliver it back.
They do. Marcus Stewart has picked it off for Ipswich. There's a ball on to Roycer on the left. Could have gone a bit quicker. Holland. Flick from Finidi George. Collision there, no more than that with Freddie Ljungberg. They do. He's just prepared to drop off the back line. Bergkamp. Couldn't get within range again with Tommy Miller's tackle. Here's Ashley Cole trying his luck. Ljungberg. Ipswich shaped up pretty well defensively, but Arsenal still have possession. Bergkamp. It's solidly away by John McGreal from the head of Henry. Adu. Parler. Blocked easily by Marshall. Ipswich have got to be a bit careful here. They've got to keep Arsenal occupied rather than just to sit back and let the Gunners lay siege to their goal and hope for the best. It's going to be a free kick against Parler.
Well, this is the one piece of exquisite skill we've seen, Mark. You watch where he picks it up there. Way inside his own half now. They back off and they back off. And I think Dennis eventually doesn't have an option on. He has a look, there's no real option. He thinks he's done it, he's beaten the goalkeeper, but he hasn't beaten the inside of the post. And I tell you, these goals, they're shaped the way they are. It doesn't often hit there and come back out. Wonderful effort. Well, it was quiet first half. Dennis Bergkamp.
Finidi George got shaken up in that collision with Freddie Ljungberg, and he's going off. 5 minutes into the second half, on comes Sixto Peralta, one of the players who lost his place after that 4-1 defeat, ignominious as it was, at Bolton. Cole. Henry.
There to get that throw in, Arsene. I thought it was Ipswich's.
They do. Parler. Vieira. Adams.
Going to go back that way. There was absolutely nothing to his left. Tony Adams would have wanted to have kept the play coming this way.
Parler. In the end was in danger of being outnumbered then, but the one got the better of the two. Marshall, one of those who's succeeded Richard Wright in the Ipswich goal. He must have mixed feelings today. Ipswich born, 7 years of senior football, almost 300 games with Ipswich. Stewart going in.
Flag's gone up, Martin. Referee hasn't seen it yet. I'll tell you what, but it's close. I don't think he is. Tucks it round the corner, he isn't offside. What a good job Martin Keown does to mess up Marcus Stewart. Just take his concentration.
That's a great expression for some of Martin Keown's work, messing up opponents. He gets all over them, doesn't he? And anyway, it didn't matter then because the game was about to be stopped, but he didn't know that. Vieira, Ashley Cole trying to catch Ipswich out with a run from deep, and a bit of a confrontation involving Dennis Bergkamp. Edu, clipped by Peralta. He's the player on loan from Inter of Milan. Vieira. Put in by Edu, pressing by Bent. He's got the better of Cole. A decent early ball too, and excellent defending by Martin Keown on his left side. Peralta. Roycer at the back post. Lauren with him. Ipswich's throw.
The difference here when it's wide with Ipswich, Mark, they think nothing. Immediately just turning it in, feeding a cross in. Arsenal almost look for the perfect goal time and time.
And we could do with a good helping of bread and butter at the moment.
Unjust.
Clapham. Trying to catch Arsenal pushing out, but his teammates didn't anticipate his attention. Cole certainly pushing out. Bounced off Ashley Cole. And away by Peralta. A mistake by Edu. The two Marcuses for Ipswich up together. Here's Stewart. Roycer. Well-judged tackle by Patrick Vieira. It needed to be because he went to ground. Parler is on the deck, but Arsenal have the ball. Threaded through by Vieira for Ljungberg. It's a foul by Miller on the Swede.
Oh, the kid is innocent, I tell you. The ball seemed to go away at an angle that Freddie Ljungberg wouldn't have played it. The referee's making this decision from behind the play. Well, maybe it was a free kick.
Just a little too much of the man as well as the ball.
Yeah,
certainly
absolutely.
the ball was the object of Miller's attentions. It wasn't a cynical foul. Henry briefs Edu.
Well, we've heard all about his left foot. We haven't seen an awful lot of evidence of it.
No, the 3 goals he's got for Arsenal have all been rather poachers' goals. Part of the deception. Edu, reflection, corner. 10 minutes gone in the second half.
Well, first change, Martin. Looks like Arsene Wenger is anxious to make it before the corner's taken.
Well, the tallest member of his squad is about to come on.
Is it his heading ability they want at this corner?
And that was Edu's last contribution, the free kick. So Kanu, who sometimes does represent plan B for Arsenal. So Henry now to take the corners on both sides, it seems.
It's gone out.
These are the margins we're dealing with at this stage of the season.
Yeah, it's a wonderful effort from Dennis Bergkamp. They backed away and offered the shot. So close. They just tucked Ray Parler in one, Martin, looking at that change. I wondered what they do. I thought they might leave Dennis Bergkamp centrally, you know, so he could go and support the play. But they've actually tucked Parler in one, left Bergkamp on the right-hand side.
And straight away in that central position, Ray Parler's conceded this free kick. Clapham. By Cole. Challenge between Bramble and Ljungberg, although the ball was bouncing. And David Seaman just got there and just had room to check. Lauren. Now Vieira. Cole. Fully fit from knee trouble. Lauren. Cross to Bergkamp now on the right-hand side. Kanu. Looking to take on Clapham. The cross comes in, Ipswich lining up to get it away. It was Peralta who made contact. Henry. Looking to wave the magician's wand then.
Never came down from him, did it? It was always airborne.
Henry. Hoisted away by Royce as the Ipswich resistance continues. And eased out of it by Vieira. Bergkamp taking the fight to Ipswich again. Kanu, no flag. Parler, back for Bergkamp. Nipped away from him by Miller.
7 players here with blue shirts on, Mark. You could have thrown a hanky over that side tight they've been getting. What they've also done, well, they haven't overcommitted from full-back, I don't think, at any time. Titus Bramble and Jamie Clapham only on the odd occasion have ventured forward.
Adams thinking about venturing forward himself here. Vieira. Kanu. It's just veered away from Ljungberg.
You just wonder, and I bet he is as well, you just wonder. And the sign of this side, Mark, might just be, can they win this game? They're not been anywhere near their best. Championship winning sides do. And you just feel Arsenal will have to. They'll have to prove they have what it takes to dig another one out.
We've still got a third of the game to go. Bergkamp. Kanu. He's in behind Ipswich here. Goes back to Lauren. Resistance there by Royce. Bent acutely down to Stewart. He knows the help can only be a bit deeper. In the shape of Tommy Miller. Peralta. Ljungberg did play the ball. Arsenal's hopes may be pinned on Dennis Bergkamp. If you want to follow him, the player cam's available, the red button on your remote for Sky Digital viewers. Good closing down by Tommy Miller. Certainly come back to Ipswich Town football with a real incentive to prove the club wrong for not taking him on in the first place when he was a junior at Portman Road, at the same time as the youthful Kieran Dyer. He has worked his socks off. I mean,
they all have. They all have, Mark. I think the resistance has been excellent.
Bent. Squeeze it away from Adams, on from Stewart, cleverly. Clapham. Royce.
And the Arsenal fans are trying to do their bit to help their team.
Clapham's cross. Newman Radisson kept his eye on the ball. Bergkamp attempts to distract him. Last team, incidentally, to stop Arsenal winning a Premiership game was Southampton. That was here early in February, a 1-1 draw.
Well, they're also doing what no other team has succeeded in doing, Martin. Stopping them scoring against them. Every game they play competitively in this country. They've scored in.
Roycer. Just changed his mind, I think, and that hesitation the moment was lost. Stewart, backed up by Holland, and in turn uses Bramble. This time Marcus Stewart had turned his back. Vieira. Kanu. Now Henry. This is his angle. Still Henry.
Oh, I don't know who that hit. Certainly Freddie Ljungberg was arriving. But only one player arriving, Martin. It wasn't exactly a swift build-up. Flags went up.
Henry was making his way back away from the play, so the decision must have been against Ljungberg. Peralta, neat on the ball since he's come on. Roycer. Peralta, this hasn't really got to him. Still Peralta, wide for Stewart. Marcus Bent in the middle. Peralta goes near post. It's Bent!
Lovely ball. I wonder if it's just a fraction high for Marcus Bent. Takes up a really good position. Watch him. He just spins away to the back post. Gets in between Lauren and Keown. Yeah, it's a touch high. Couldn't quite get over the top of it and direct it down, or even straight.
Suffolk voices you can hear at the moment. Henry trying to silence them. For Bergkamp. Parler coming from infield. Bergkamp goes for goal, and Marshall hauls it in. Again, cleverly, Stewart finding space for himself. And the penetrating option, that pass, he could have come wide here to Peralta. Trying to slip Marcus Bent through to give Ipswich the lead. Vieira. Bergkamp. Lauren, Parler, Vieira, Adams, for Ljungberg. Bergkamp far post, Adams is in the thick of it. Ryderson got to it, the volley from Parler, and it flies up and onto the top of the net.
The captain sees it and senses it, I think, Martin. First of all, it's a brilliant ball, slide rule. Great cross, and they finally get someone on the end of it, but who arrives almost right on time, right on cue. But it's going to take something like that, a bit of inspiration from someone, an individual.
Evans is there again. Peralta and let it go for the goal kick. Last time Arsenal failed to score in a Premiership game was at the back end of last season at Newcastle. There's a little thing called the law of averages, I guess. One day, but they would hope not this day, not this season. Henry. Bergkamp. It's tense at Highbury. Kanu. Vieira. Here comes Cole. They've worked it nicely to the left back. Oh, the left back's cross. Not so nice. Played 72 minutes in the reserve game last Wednesday. Ashley Cole for Arsenal against Ipswich reserves. Ipswich lost that one 2-1. Mattered not to George Burley. It's of more use to Arsenal, apart from the points in the competition. Francis Jeffers played the whole game and scored. He could come into this game yet.
Oh, he's got to have a chance, Mark. Into the last quarter of the game.
Ljungberg, set up and a shot! Bangs against the bar. Ori.
Oh, what an effort. That looked all the way down from where you and I are sitting.
Arsenal have yet another corner, 3/4 of the way through the game. In towards Tony Adams. That's Vieira. Vieira again. Ljungberg. Freddie Ljungberg! That's what they've been waiting for. And Ljungberg, who was responsible for so much in the win at Ipswich, maybe has got it right here at the right time again.
Well, Ljungberg might have the goal mark, but Tony Adams immediately jumped on that man's back because he kept it in. He keeps the ball in the 18-yard box when Vieira tries to get it. Watch this. Watch Keown. He's on the floor. Up he gets. This ball's about to be cleared. No, it ain't. He keeps it in there. Brilliant play from Ljungberg. I've got to give you that. But Martin Keown's little part there is so vital. What a finish from Freddie Ljungberg.
Marcus Stewart. Arsenal have scored in every Premiership game this season. But what a weight here, what a tension. Maybe that weight has now been lifted from their shoulders. Ljungberg has scored for the 3rd league game in a row, incidentally. Kanu. It's a different scenario now. Sitting back and playing gallantly in their own half of the pitch isn't enough for Ipswich Town. They got 3/4 of the way through, but their resistance has been punctured here. And here's the man who's done it. And now he looks for Kanu.
I mean, what a goal, though, Martin. I mean, moments earlier, his thumping left foot shot looked for all the world a goal. Comes flashing back off the bar. Thinks his chance is gone, but oh, that was a far more difficult chance. To collect it, to turn and to arrow it across his body again into the far corner. Wonderful skill.
Royce. 25 years old last Tuesday, the Super Swede they call him here.
Oh, what a finish. Goes to his knees, you know. Told you, I thought that.
Well, Ipswich maybe are down on their knees collectively. From the chairman down through to those players who have played nobly on the pitch to this point. But as you said earlier, 90 minutes is a very long time in Premiership football these days, with the pace, the unrelenting action. That's a mistake by Kanu. Lauren. Been greeted also with a roar of approval in Sunderland, or is offside.
Close one. Those are the most difficult ones for lines when the ball travels that distance.
The news of Ljungberg's effort would not have gone down well at Anfield or at Old Trafford.
No, they haven't beaten the record this season. The longest they've gone without scoring, I think, is about 74 minutes in a match. So they're well under that, Arsenal.
Was that the Derby game? That was pretty late on,
That was pretty late on. I think that was about 20 minutes ago, Martin. I think there'd been another game.
Kanu. Bergkamp with the bit between his teeth and the ball at his feet. Comes out to Ljungberg. Comes out to Kanu. Now Parler. Some more considered touch on the ball. Vieira On one to Ashley Cole. Forward one to Freddie Ljungberg. Norrie. Still. It was late on Miller, but Ipswich have the ball. Royce. Just when you were beginning to wonder whether it was going to be one of those days where all the best shots would hit the frame of the goal. Camp had done it, Ljungberg had done it, Royce, of course, with the headed chance for Ipswich in the first half. Martin Keown's header bounced out off the post. Freddie Ljungberg kept it low and reversed it back across Andy Marshall into the bottom corner to delight Arsene Wenger and to put the league table, if there was such a thing during a match, that's the nearest we can create for you. Arsenal top, 73 minutes played at Highbury.
And that's what you get. You get that in a season. You get games when it's not quite right, it's not quite there. Things go against you. Teams come and make life really difficult, as Ipswich have done today so far. And that's when you're asked the questions.
Well, Gilles Grimaldi, who was superfluous to requirements for the semi-final last week, will just have a job to do in the latter stages here for Arsene Wenger. Royce.
Well, he's Arsene Wenger's man, and has been in the past, Martin, when they've been protecting a lead. Brought him on. Might be that he feels now they've gotten the goal with, well, 15 minutes. It might be Bergkamp they would sacrifice and say, stick Parler back on the right, Grimaldi in beside Vieira, and at least then say, OK, no goals away. That would seem to be what, I was going to say the sensible thing, but it would seem to be the thing he'd be thinking about with Grimaldi.
Safe hands.
He should use that.
"15 minutes to go. Henry. Much more relaxed now, Thierry Henry. When they restarted after the goal, he was doubled up and a gesture of, it said, thank goodness, really. It isn't over yet. Master would love the security of a second goal. Rather than go looking for that, they're making a change. It has a defensive edge to it. Off goes Bergkamp. And on comes Gilles Grimaldi. As a fireman, really, to extinguish the opposition. In that midfield area. But here's Henry much further forward and much more threatening for Arsenal. Andy down to business. Stewart. Holland. There's a free kick given away there, but one thing about Ipswich, Andy, they are a very sporting team. They've got an excellent disciplinary record and do have a chance of getting into Europe, would you believe, and by the fair play route. And sometimes if you're just a bit too gentlemanly in this sort of game at this sort of level, it might be seen as a negative rather than a positive.
I think people do level at Ipswich. They're good to play against, a lot of people say.
A splendid club. They pride themselves quite properly doing things right off the field, trying to do it right on the field as they did for over an hour here today. Grimandi. Ljungberg is there again. Ljungberg makes it 2-0. And he surely, almost single-handedly, has settled it for Arsenal.
Yeah, when you cross a ball, you cause problems. It's a fabulous ball in from Gilles Grimandi. And this, well, he's about the only one that ever puts himself in there, Mark, to get a header. Look where he starts. He's outside the box, he finds a little gap. Goalkeeper's unlucky, but I think Ljungberg's deserved his little bit of luck. He's been the constant threat, he's got in there time and time and time again. Although he maybe should have scored with a header. He gets a little bit of good fortune in the rebound and, well, just knees it in. That should be game, set and match. That will be Arsenal definitely top this evening.
Holland. Roycer. He has got expert technique.
Hold on, the keeper get that? Wait a minute, saved it, didn't he? Sorry, man.
He's got the decision. Belatedly, maybe. Save it, he
Keeper's
did.
made a brilliant save here and then onto the post. What a strike that was.
Peralta with the corner. Holland with the header. Ryderson. Well, we were talking about Gilles Grimandi coming on to extinguish the life of the opposition. He's actually played a major part in settling Ipswich's hash with that wonderful cross.
Well, he has extinguished it then, hasn't he? In the best possible way.
Not quite the way we were anticipating.
Not as a protector.
It was a Bergkamp-esque, wasn't it, the supply from the right. Here's Stewart. Parlour.
I think that little passage of play just moments ago there, the shot in the corner, well, just a little warning to Arsenal that, you know, no time for complacency. No time to think, wow, that's it, game over, while they're on the pitch.
You might see one or two of Kanu's party pieces and adhering himself to the football. Decision by flicking it up against an Ipswich arm. The mood has softened at Highbury. It was tight, it was tense, and understandably so. He is the man who has changed it. He's now Arsenal's third highest scorer this season with 14 goals. He's leapfrogged with Perez and Bergkamp. Interesting, you talked to Freddie Ljungberg, Andy, and asked him about the position he likes to play. It's behind the front two, really, if he had the choice, where he can make those runs all game long into the centre.
Yeah, because he has a lot more hard work to do when he plays now.
He does. He does. But he does it.
He does it. And it's made a player of him, I have to say, Martin.
And we should perhaps remind you that Sweden are in England's World Cup group.
I think they might know all about Freddie Ljungberg's running ability.
Well, so do Ipswich, but it hasn't stopped them conceding to...
That is a difficulty.
Yeah. He's such a modest, unassuming guy as well, and that might surprise you, given the state of his hair, but even if he gets a hat-trick today, he'll take it all in his stride. Keogh. Vieira, he showed too much of it to Peralta. Stewart, working back. Grimandi. Cole. Very much in control now, Arsenal, but goodness me how hard they've had to work to get into this position.
You don't get given championships, do you? You have to have them.
But with the greatest respect to the Chelsea players, this team in blue have made it harder for one of the top three than Chelsea did against Manchester United yesterday. And they were at home. Kanu. Ljungberg. Now Henry. Well, the way that ball dipped, it was clearly deflected. Maybe a chance now for Ipswich. They've got two subs waiting to come on, but the old dictum in football is do not change while you're defending at a corner. Can lead to a loss of concentration. Anderson up above Adams. Volleyed forward well by Clapham. Good touch by Bent to Stewart. Marcus Bent stretching Martin Keown here. Stewart. Now Clapham. For Bent again. And Grimandi. Now that's what we expected to come on and do. His ball forward is crisp and precise, and it's got Henry on his way. He looks for Kanu, but the angles were wrong. And now Ipswich will make their changes. And on the left is Darren Ambrose, who's only just turned 18. It's his debut, his first team debut for the club. But he has played here in Highbury before and scored 2 goals, which is what Ipswich, of course, need now. He did that for the youth team in the first leg of the FA Youth Cup semi-final a year ago. The other entrant is a bit more familiar, Alan Armstrong. Martin Royce ruefully off. And Alan Armstrong will be trying his level best to get something to get Ipswich back in the game. A striker, of course, will be available for you if you're watching on Sky Digital via the player cam and the red button on your remote. Over Armstrong. Miller. Peralta. His lack of recent first-team football. Henry. Might really gamble to come in far post. Arsenal might feel they don't need to do that now, but they might need to do it in other games. Good strong work again from Miller. This is Peralta. Stewart. Armstrong. Peralta making good ground for Ipswich. The combination of Adams and Vieira to stop him. Kanu. Reeling crisply. Clapham. Go back to Ryderson. Reminder again, Sky Sports 1 Tuesday. Blackburn against Newcastle, live from the Premiership. And 4-3-3 Premiership Plus here at Highbury. Arsenal against West Ham, their next league game on Wednesday. Pay-per-view offering from the Premier League.
goalkeeper miles out his goal.
Four games to play for Arsenal after this. If they win 3 of them, they will be champions, providing they see it through for the 2 minutes plus added time that remains with this 2-goal lead, which has given them a degree of comfort that for long periods of this game was impossible to achieve. Ambrose. Peralta. Ambrose. It's as though the 18-year-old was going to arrive in very memorable fashion, confronting the England goalkeeper, who's 20 years older.
Well, Arsenal won't want to concede a goal. I know it might not go down to it, Mark, but the goal difference is pretty close up at the top between these 3 that are up there.
Miller. Bramble. Andy with the interception. Arsenal's goal difference, incidentally, plus 37 now. Liverpool's inferior, plus 32. Manchester United's superior, plus 42. Raimondi. Ipswich. For all their effort here, they're probably from a neutral point of view done as well as can be expected in the circumstances. Lots of injuries made Arsenal really toil. And they're backpedaling again now. Kanu, Parler. Kanu hasn't scored in the Premiership for almost 6 months. And while he keeps his hands firmly behind his back. 3 added minutes. But the bottom line for Ipswich is they're even more firmly embedded in the bottom 3. Home to Middlesbrough on Wednesday. Home to Manchester United next Saturday. It's a game you can see live with us. It's a later kick-off. And then away to Liverpool. It's a pretty gloomy scenario. But not for Arsenal. Couldn't be more opposite. And with in a couple of minutes of returning back to the top of the table, still very much with the destiny of the Premiership in their own hands. Here comes Kanu and Ljungberg, of course, and Henry, of course.
Yes, couldn't square it back to Freddie Ljungberg. Job done. That's all that matters at this stage in the season. So another weekend, Mark, when the top 3 have done what's been required for them. Win the football match.
And the longer it goes on like that, of course, there can only be one winner, with Arsenal having the points in the bag and that game in hand as well.
They want that extra cushion, you know, Mark. Winning other games, I think, with a big one coming in May the 8th at Old Trafford. I think they quite like to go into that Arsenal knowing that even defeat there would still leave them top.
But what has happened through this win is it sent the pressure back on Liverpool and Manchester United, because Arsenal have done the necessary. They had to wait for it. But at a time of growing need, Freddie was ready. His 2 goals take Arsenal back to the top of the Premiership. Ipswich fought gallantly, but their position gets even more perilous down at the bottom. But the majority inside Highbury are thinking about life at the top. Arsenal 2, Ipswich 0.
An anxious afternoon at Highbury, but Arsenal are top. Tuesday night, a point for Newcastle at Blackburn, and they'll secure 4th place. But Blackburn need the win. They are by no means safe yet. Wednesday at 7:30, Arsenal are back in action here against West Ham. That's a Premiership pay-per-view offering. 7:30 start. For more information on how to order that match, dial 08705 160 160. At 6:30 tonight on Sky Sports 1, a win for Valencia puts them top of La Liga. Real Madrid took over last night. If Deportivo win that, they take 2nd place from Valencia. Over on Sky Sports 2 next, there's World Championship Boxing. Jose Luis Castillo defending his WBC lightweight title against Floyd Mayweather in Las Vegas. And coming up next on Sky Sports 3, there's live motor racing from the Nazareth Speedway. Over on Sky Sports Extra now, there's live action from the 3rd day of the 2nd test between the West Indies and India. And at 10:30, it's basketball live. The LA Lakers against Portland in their 1st round playoff match. Alan Smith is here. Sam Allardyce is here. Ipswich Town beaten. Let's not forget the significance of that. But at the top, it looks like this. Wenger from Houllier, from Ferguson. For Ipswich Town, but Freddie got Arsenal out of a scary situation. 2 from him, they go top, and not surprisingly, he's the Barclaycard man of the match.
Freddie, you must feel like playing Ipswich every week. 2 goals today and a key role and a goal in the game at Portman Road as well.
Yeah, maybe. No, it was a tough game today. They defended very well and they dropped very deep, so there wasn't much space to play on. But in the end, I think we just kept on going, and we got a goal, and then we just kept the ball in the end.
Just before you scored the first one, you hit the crossbar. Do you think that the one you actually scored was a more difficult chance in a way?
Yeah, I think so. A little bit. I was turned maybe my backside to the goal, but I mean, every goal counts, so it was nice.
It visibly lifted the tension. Is that how the team felt? Certainly the fans all relaxed.
I mean, the fans was brilliant today. They were behind us all the time, and maybe we didn't score as early as we usually do, but they were behind us all the time, so it was easy to play with them, but the game was very tough.
While you're playing catch-up, are you feeling the pressure?
Of course, very important games, but we have talked to each other and just take, like everybody says, but one game at a time, and I mean, just keep on playing our game and don't think about so much about other teams.
The manager keeps saying that you're not watching what the others do, it's yours for the taking, but does that actually build the pressure a little bit for you?
No, I don't think so. It's much easier to just concentrate on yourself than bother about other people. And we try to do that. That's our way anyway, and hopefully we can have some success with it.
14 goals for you now this season. Do you set yourselves targets that you want to achieve in terms of goal scoring?
Not really, but of course always fun to score goals, but I don't put any special targets. I try. My midfielders is more important that I play well than I score a lot of goals personally, but it's always fun to score.
Still feel the title is there for yours for the taking?
We're definitely going to try for it, and it looks all right.
Well, you are the Barclaycard man of the match.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
I don't believe they're not watching what the others do. They have to be, Alan, don't they?
Yeah, I think it gets to this stage, and you do. Whenever, I mean, obviously they're playing Sunday, they're watching Saturday's games with a lot of interest. So it does put a little bit of added pressure on playing that day later, but they came through in the end, didn't they?
Tense, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, it wasn't the kind of flamboyant, free-flowing stuff that Arsenal played all year, but it gets to this stage, and it's all about results. And it was persistence in the end, you know, that first goal by Freddie, ball in, Martin getting his head to it. Great swivel and finish, but it wasn't anything particularly attractive, a thing of beauty, but it was what was needed.
Are you safe yet?
Nearly.
Dear, this is how it looks at the top. It's Arsenal once again from Liverpool in second place and Manchester United in third, and the other two, of course, both led for a spell during the weekend, but Arsenal have done what they had to do here. They have beaten Ipswich. Sticky. Would that be a word to sum up their performance to a degree?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we have come to expect some very high standards off Arsenal this season. They've entertained us brilliantly. And when they don't, you start to ask questions. But I said beforehand that it's all about grinding out results, something that Arsenal are famous for doing down the years. And they're doing that. I mean, as we said, Tottenham, it wasn't a particularly good performance. Middlesbrough in the semi-final, it wasn't. And again here. But they kept the nerve. You know, first half, it was all about missed kicks, wasn't it? Everything that fell to them. They didn't strike cleanly, hit the woodwork. They got the reward.
What would Ipswich Town's plan have been during this period?
Well, I think the plan was very, very good today. I mean, they set the stall out with a bank of 8 and made life very, very difficult for Arsenal. And I think the only reason for me, I thought Arsenal won the game in the end, was the substitution. I think that the change around in the team, putting Canoe up front and putting Birdcap wide, changed the game for Arsenal, because they weren't looking like they were going to score up to them, apart from when they hit the post. And I think that's turned the game in their favour. And obviously, at this particular time, you want a superb finish and a great bit of skill from somebody. And after Martin Keown did brilliant with the header, it was a fantastic finish by Ljungberg, and really that takes the pressure off Arsenal and puts the pressure on Ipswich.
Ipswich will think back and remember this, Royce particularly. If that goes in just before half-time.
Big turning point, wasn't it? As you say, just before half-time, he'll feel very disappointed, Royce, tonight. But,
well, it really is the best chance of the game, isn't it, that one, I think. I mean,
for them?
For them, yeah. It's the best chance of the game for them. And when it comes along, there's not many, you're not going to get many chances at Arsenal, and you know when you get them, you've got to take them. And when things are going well, they go in the net, and when things are not going well, they don't.
And when that happened, you just wondered if it was going to be Ipswich Town's day, didn't you? That maybe Arsenal couldn't find a way through.
Yes, I mean, you know, you were wondering, because I mean, just after that Ipswich had a very good chance on the far post, and it was Royce had a header that he just put over the bar, and really it was a clear free header, and he should have really been better with it. I think this may have been it. Yeah,
that's the one.
That's the one.
And as you say, you get so few opportunities at places like this, and at Anfield and at Old Trafford. When they come, you have to take them. You just got to.
You've got to, otherwise they end up, teams like Arsenal end up wearing you down. And you know, Ipswich have had a little bit of luck today at times to stay in the game, but in the end, the quality finish and the constant pressure in the end. And I think the added force by making the substitution has paid off for Arsenal in the end.
This was just all about getting bodies in there, wasn't it? A lot of times this match, they hadn't got enough bodies in the box, but they haven't got a whole lot there. But on this occasion, Martin Keown did brilliantly, just to keep it in play, as Andy said in commentary. That's a great swivel, isn't it? Because he's facing directly the other way. Yes. Swivel around 180 degrees and find the corner. It's great skill. I mean,
what were you saying to me just prior to that as Carnu went into the box? Never turn out and bring the ball back out.
No,
just kept it
in
the
box. Keep it in the box. I mean, you know, Carnu a couple of times got in the box there and then turned around and played the ball outside the box. And I mean, when you're in there, the people can't tackle you. But a good save, to be fair, to Marshall. There was a little unlucky. It fell straight to Ljungberg again, but it was just needed in this time, hasn't he?
Thierry Henry probably had one of his quietest games this season, but fortunate for Arsenal. Freddie Ljungberg, 14 goals, fantastic total so far for a midfielder, and 2 of his most important, I would have said, so far this season.
It's a big, big win, of course, for Arsenal, but what about Ipswich Town, who have got Middlesbrough to come now, Manchester United and Liverpool? What does this do to them? Here's Martin Royce with Jeff Shreves.
And just how disappointing is that when you more than match them for over an hour?
Yeah, I'm gutted to be honest, and we had to at least get a point here, and we didn't. I think we were frustrated for 60 minutes or so, and we had our chances as well. I got a great header on the post, and we were always looking dangerous looking forward. So yeah, that's the way it goes.
Your header on the post, did Martin Keown put you off? Did you see him coming in?
Not really. My only goal was going for the target, of course, and which I didn't. So I think if it was going to target, then it would be a goal. But yeah, it wasn't an easy ball. I think it was quite hard. So yeah, disappointed.
As the game was progressing, at one stage were you thinking we could win this?
We had some dangerous moments in front of their goals, and of course they always looking dangerous, and they had a few balls who were on the post as well, and they're always looking dangerous. That's the truth. But I think we could have scored 1-0 here, and then it would be a totally different match. But yeah, we were empty-handed again, and yeah, it's going to be very difficult.
empty-handed. Can you take anything out of today?
Well, I think you should say credit to all the lads that worked very hard, but against a team like Arsenal, they have so much qualities, and yeah, at the end of the day, the quality shows how good they are, and that's why they have 3 points and we have nothing.
How hard is it going to be for you to stay in the Premiership now?
Yeah, very, very hard, of course. I mean, with games against Middlesbrough Wednesday, and then Man United at home and Liverpool at away. Yeah, it's not the most easiest run. And yeah, it's going to be difficult.
Well, we wish you good luck. Thanks for talking to us.
Barclaycard today. The Baggies have bounced back into the big time. That's next. 2-0 to Arsenal. They're top. Here's Arsene Wenger.
Arsene, is it a question sometimes of grinding out a result?
Yes, of course. Ipswich was well organised. We had problems to change the pace in the first half especially. And of course we needed to keep going and to get the goal. Once we got the goal, of course, it was easier, but it was very difficult today against a very good Ipswich side.
You hit the woodwork 4 times. Were you beginning to think it wasn't going to be your day?
No, we have needed strengths, and we are mentally very strong. And of course, I knew we would keep going, but sometimes you never know what's happening in football, and we just needed that goal from Freddie, and after it became easier. But Ipswich had as well a few chances, especially in the first half at 0-0. They have a good post. So it was a difficult game.
It didn't seem to be the same flowing football from Arsenal. As much as Ipswich doing well, was that perhaps a bit down to tiredness, do you think?
It looked like, I don't know, was it the heat today or the fact that the players were away on international duties? It was difficult, yes, to change the pace, to get the fluency in the game. And I knew at half-time that you would have to win the game without having that. And that's why we had experience and individual strengths today to win the game.
Plenty of pressure, plenty of nerves. Even you were more animated than normal on the touchline.
Well, when you see a team who fights so hard since the beginning of the season and got in that position, of course, we want really to push it through, and we want to do that. And when you feel that kind of motivation in your team, it's as well motivating for everybody in the club.
If results do go the right way, you could end up winning the title before the FA Cup final. Would you prefer that, to have that done and dusted before the Cup?
Well, you have seen the game today, and at the moment the only plan we have is to win the next one. The next one is West Ham. It's another London derby, and you have seen how it was today. So we'll win the next one, and then we'll see.
Is it going to be down to mental strength as much as anything, this title?
Yes, of course, because it's mental strength, togetherness, and a lot of motivation, and we have shown a lot of that this season, and we'll show that until the end of the season.
Thanks, Arsene. Well done.
Thank you.
Just a thought, Alan, as you looked around the pitch today and Arsenal were getting bogged down, you're trying to identify leaders. Has Tony Adams got himself back involved at the right time?
Well, I think so, yes. To have him back is a fantastic fillip for the team. You know, you see here, he's got such determination and his leadership qualities and just his presence on the pitch and in the dressing room beforehand. I think you can't really speak too highly of it. It's fantastic. I mean, I hope now that he's able to play these last few games, because his body hasn't let him do that this season. But you can see the desire, and he knows what's at stake and how he could finish his career if he does finish at the end of this season. to finish on a double, you know, that would cap a quite fantastic career. And to have him back, alongside Martin Keown, of course, it's the old guard possibly seeing them through to the end here. Great to see him there.
Didn't put a foot wrong, did he, today, I don't think.
Apart from the chip early on.
Well, the chip early on, the
yeah.
final ball was a bit, yeah, it was a bit weak, of course, but from a defensive point of view, and of course, as the years have gone on, he's drawn on his vast experience and using his vast experience to get him through. When the legs are not quite as quick, he's using the head, and they always said that good defenders, the first 5 yards is in the head, just like when I played, you know.
Well, the Baggies are back in the Premiership after nothing but celebration at the Hawthorns. The Baggies, boing boing Baggies, have bounced right back into the big time.
I'm exactly the same as the players and the supporters. You know, I'm delighted, both for the staff, all the players, most of all the supporters. You know, most of the players that are here have been here maximum 2 years. So we're the Johnny-come-latelys. They've been 16 years out of the Premiership. A lot of them have been following this club through thick and thin, and mainly thin. And you saw after the game what it means to people, and the emotion afterwards was again, it was mixed. It wasn't just a celebration. It was a relief, and I think in some instances one that they can't really believe it.
Well done, Gary Maxson. You did it the hard way, of course, and came up via the playoffs. But what is that feeling like when that reality sinks in? You're back, you're there.
Fantastic feeling. I mean, when you've done it on a shoestring like we did last year, and like Gary has done, you get that little bit more satisfaction out of it as well, like, you know what I mean? And of course, you've got to enjoy the moment, particularly as a manager, because I don't think it comes around to that many that often, winning promotion or winning championships, so you have to enjoy the moment. The unfortunate thing is you can't enjoy it too long because you start worrying about the Premiership, you know. But full marks to Gary, what he's done over the last 2 years or so, and you know, the West Brom fans have been waiting for a long time to get back in the top league.
Yeah, good luck to them. Ipswich have got problems, of course, in the big league. Here's George Burley with Jeff Shreves.
George, are you going away empty-handed because you didn't take your chances?
Well, we gave it our best shot, worked very hard. When you come to Highbury, you say, you've got to take maybe 2 or 3 good chances to go in the lead. But at the end of the day, you know, all I asked for the players was total commitment, worked hard, which they did today. Arsenal are a fantastic team who are always liable to score against you, so you need a goal. Unfortunately, didn't quite take their opportunities.
How close were you to your game plan coming off, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, first goal is always crucial, and the longer the goes 0-0, we could see maybe Arsenal were pushing more forward. But as I say, everything went sort of according to plan as far as first half. We tried to frustrate them. We get you know, a lot of people in midfield, and caught them once or twice in the break where we could have scored. But unfortunately, we didn't take the opportunities.
What have you just said to the players just now in terms of lifting them?
3 games left. We've got a big game at home against Middlesbrough. We've got to win that game. If we win on Wednesday, we've got everything to play for. So we're not down and out yet. We will keep fighting right to the end.
Can you take anything out of today?
Yeah, I thought the spirit and the work rate was tremendous. And to come to Highbury, it's always tough. But you know, and if we'd have taken the opportunity, who knows what would have happened. But you know, as I say, all you can ask for the group of players was to keep battling the way, which they did today.
Is there enough there, do you think, to stay up? I mean, you need a miracle now, don't you?
No, we need 3 wins. That's for sure. Middlesbrough, as I say, wins is key. If we can manage to get 3 points there, having to play for the following Saturday.
Wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Before we go, here's a bonus from Scotland, the Old Firm game at Parkhead. Celtic champions, of course, but there was more than pride at stake here. This was a dress rehearsal for the Scottish Cup final. Commentators David Provin and Ian Crocker.
Well, here's Lovenkrantz with an early opportunity for Rangers, and it took the deflection, did it? It's flown in! A sensational start for Rangers! Didier Gap. He's going to deliver. Too much on it, or is there? Muratchik knocked it back. Hartson, and surely Alan Thompson has equalised for Celtic. It's Alan Thompson's corner. Oh, and Hartson is in there! It's out! Is it going to go in? Cross has dropped on it, and everybody's having a kick, and it's all starting now. And Kenny Clark's got a big problem here. Oh dear, it's threatening to turn very nasty.
Oh, it's a pity. It's a pity. Keep an eye on John Hartson here. Comes in late. Albion Ritson want to get on. And there's Hartson.
It's a red card for John Hartson. He has been sent off after that melee which followed the scramble. And it's also red for Mjällby as well. And incredibly, Celtic have had 2 men sent off as a result. Oh, another one! Another one. Rixton has gone. 3 men sent off as a result of that incident. Well, isn't that just typical of the Old Firm?
And doesn't that set up the cup final? 3 off in the last minute, 1 apiece in the game. Where, if they're to win it, where will Arsenal win this title?
Where will they win it? Could win it at Old Trafford, couldn't they? That would be a thing. But I mean, you look at these games, you look at them on paper, and you think, well, they shouldn't slip up. They shouldn't slip up against West Ham on Wednesday, Bolton possibly, who knows? But you see that nothing's straightforward at this stage. We saw that today against Ipswich. Nothing is straightforward, and you get funny results. So they're in the box seat, no doubt about it, Arsenal. But they've got to keep the concentration. They've got to keep the nerve.
Nobody at Highbury's watching anything other than what's happening here. So will you turn your back on Ipswich Town on Wednesday night, or will you have a close eye on what's happening against Middlesbrough?
I'll have a close eye on that one, of course, but it does depend what we do at Fulham now. We've got it in our own hands to get a result against them. We're both on 40 points. Very important game for both of us. They've broken their duck by getting a fantastic win at Leeds yesterday, the first win in 10. And then, you know, I'd obviously look out for the results on Wednesday, Ipswich versus Middlesbrough.
Well, we wish you well, and thanks for making the journey today. Smashing to see you, Sam. And well done. If you're not safe yet, we'll hold the congratulations.
All right, thank you.
If you are, well done.
Cheers.
Alan, thanks for joining us. What have we got from Sky Sports? Later.